Alrighty, good afternoon again. We got more severe thunderstorms rolling in into the tri-state area as we speak here, so that is why I'm popping on here again. We had that severe thunderstorm that went across Bradley and Polk, but that's moved out and it's weakened below severe levels. But these back here to the west unfortunately have intensified here as they're moving across the Huntsville area, and now we have one severe thunderstorm that's been issued out ahead of it for a cell that's developed over the Huntland area and moving east towards Keith Springs Mountain, Sherwood, and Anderson. So pretty much the same locations that had that tornado warning earlier this afternoon. There's now another severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility of some wind and hail in this. Now, this does have a special tag of a tornado possible, but when I look at the velocity on this one, nothing really stands out to be on the rotation side of things. This is really mostly a damaging wind and possibly a hailmaker here as this moves off to the east. So those of you again on Keith Springs Mountain there along Roe Gap Road, which is Highway 16 on the Franklin County side, there as you go down towards the Jericho area there right along the border with Jackson County, Alabama, that's the area that needs to be watched for the possibility of this severe storm, damaging winds, frequent lightning, heavy rain, and the possibility of a little bit of small hail as it moves east towards the Sherwood area along Highway 56. So make sure you guys are getting inside and away from windows. Now, my main concern here, if there's anything I'm more concerned about, it's this line you see back out here to the west, and you can see running from along US 231, 431 from Hazel Green to Meridianville to downtown Huntsville. This right here is a very significant damaging wind maker here. You can see where it kind of bows out right here. It's what we call a bow echo right here. And this is the classic textbook example of what a straight line wind event looks like here as it moves from west to east here across Madison County and eventually into Jackson County. So heads up Jackson County from Scottsboro north all the way up to the state line, including Stevenson, Bridgeport, up atop the mountain, the Skyline, up through High Top. This is a very dangerous line of storms. It's going to be moving from the west. And I say dangerous because it's a very potent one, and this line is actually the more intense one that we've seen of the day so far. So it's definitely something to take serious here. The winds in here are gusting upwards of up to 60 miles an hour, but there is also some localized pockets in here that are seeing some gusts get a little bit higher along that leading edge. So if you are in the northern half of Jackson County here, as I said, especially from Scottsboro up north to the Tennessee state line, I would highly suggest charging up your devices because there's a chance you may lose power here, especially if this line holds together the way it is. Hopefully, as this runs into some more stable areas, this gets closer to Chattanooga, I'm hoping that this will weaken in its intensity. However, we got to be prepared over here, especially along and south of the state line here, from Jackson County east into even parts of northern DeKalb County, Alabama, so Sand Mountain, and even into parts of Dade County and southern portions of Franklin and extreme southern Marion counties to stay on guard here through the next hour to 2 hours as this moves off to the east. So what I'm going to do here, for those of you tuning in, make sure you're sharing this video out so we can spread the word on what's going on. And what I will do is I will put up a storm track on this, and we'll start south and kind of work north. We'll start with the Jackson County and even the southern Marion side. And this is moving east again to about 50 miles an hour. This will be in Skyline around 423, High Top around 426, Stevenson around 441, Orem around 445, the South Pitt Bridgeport area just before 5 o'clock around 449, Eider about 451 on Sand Mountain, New Hope about 454, and just before 5 o'clock in Jasper if this were to hold together. Now, again, that's for this part of the line right here. Now, this severe storm, let's see how fast this is going and put a track on this one that's run out ahead of the line. I'm going to have to turn this off and turn this track off here real quick just to get that new update up there. So let's do that. We'll track that east from where it is now. See what happens as if it holds together. And I'll zoom in so we get some more communities in here. So Sherwood, this severe storm here, this individual storm ahead of the line will be near you just before 4:30. About 4:40 for Orem, 4:55 for New Hope, just before 5 in Jasper, about 5:03 for Little Squatchy, Haletown about 5:07, Whiteside about 5:11, and this will stay south of Whitwell, but if it does get up there, it may get up there about 5 or just after 5. But again, this will likely stay south of Whitwell. So again, practically the same areas that were impacted by the storms earlier are going to be the ones that get impacted again by this wave. So if you're up around uh, Manchester and McMinnville and up north, this wave this time is not going to affect you. But the severe stuff that was affecting the tri-state border down through Jackson County, where the tornado warning was earlier this afternoon, up through Cleveland and even Hamilton County earlier with the severe thunderstorm warning, these storms are going to follow a very similar path. I mean, they may go right down the same path as the earlier ones. So what that is an indication of is there's likely a boundary in this area laid out, and that's where these thunderstorms are following along. So there's a boundary probably somewhere laid out in here from those earlier storms that this is riding along, and is why it's been able to intensify and even be able to get stronger enough to where point we've had warnings here. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect right now for western Jackson County for the next 28 minutes. That includes Paint Rock, Woodville, up to Pleasant Groves. But I bet you that will get extended here in a matter of minutes. And then we have the other warning here for northern Jackson and southern Franklin County for this individual storm that you see east of Huntland. Not really a supercell because it's not really spinning, but there's definitely some indication of some small hail and some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and gusty wind in that as it moves right across we're pretty much right down the state line there, heading down towards the Anderson area, Sherwood, and before that it's going to move right across Keith Springs Mountains. So those areas, stay on guard here. Again, the Huntsville area is getting clobbered pretty good right now with some very heavy rain and some strong wind gusts. So it's certainly a mess out there, and evening commute time, worst time to have that. And unfortunately, that's the timing of this moving in for those of you in Jackson County and along the Tennessee state line here. I mean, unfortunately, this is moving in right here, right as we get into the evening rush. So, not really the best timing for this to go through, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Now, it does appear we have some strengthening wind here right around the New Market area. This is showing a gust of up to 86. I think that's a little overdone considering that's about 1,000 feet off the ground, but it would not surprise me along this leading edge that there could be some localized pockets in here that get some higher wind gusts in here as this moves from west to east. And if we get any kind of storm interaction that happens between these storms out ahead and this line, like what happened earlier, there could be a quick little spin up that may try to happen. And it can happen with little or no advance warning. So that's why I want you to be on guard here, especially in northwestern Jackson County into southern Franklin County. But I do believe, at least from the line here, this bow echo you see here, I think the worst of this is going to be on the Jackson County side and traverse along and south of the state line. So from the way I'm seeing it here, South Pitt, you're going to be on the north end of this. Now we have a tornado warning that's been issued on that little area I was just talking about. So we got same area as last time. So we now have a tornado warning for parts of northwestern Jackson County. So that ramped up really fast. So let me read you that information. This goes in effect until 4:30 for northwestern Jackson County and south central Franklin County, also northeastern Madison County. At 4:03, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over New Market, or 7 miles northeast of Moore's Mill, moving east at 45. Multiple areas of rotation have been noted near New Market, according to Doppler radar. So this is what I'm reading here. This tornadic storm will impact the following locations. This includes Estill Fork, Francisco, Princeton, Larkin, and High Top. So this also includes those of you on the south side of Huntland, not downtown, but on the south side of town towards the state line, as well as the Keith Springs Mountain area. This, even though it looks like the rotation is going to pass to your south, you need to stay on guard. So let me show you what's being talked about here. It's this little area right here where there's a little bit of heavy wind, and I'm checking the debris signature to see if we have anything. So far we don't, but it's this little area right here, and I can show you that on Storm Relative, where you got this green and red meeting very close to one another. So I'll draw that on the map for you and show you. Right here on the east side of New Market, Alabama, this is in Madison County. This is moving off to the east here again about 40 to 50 miles an hour. So this is going to be in Larkin and Estill Fork in Jackson County in a matter of minutes. So make sure you guys are seeking shelter out here around High Top and Jericho. I know y'all had to seek shelter earlier. You got to do it again here because we got another potential area of rotation developing. And again, it's one of those quick spin up situations here, along with interaction of elevation and everything else that's playing a factor and how this has been able to form so fast. Again, this is some very strong wind in here, and let me put that on the. And consider we're getting very close to the radar site here. This is actually some of this may be ground truth, and there's a wind gust right there. I know the print's kind of small. It's showing a gust about 1,000 feet off the ground at 86 miles an hour. So this is a very serious part of the line of storms here moving across North Alabama at this time, and this is riding right along and just south of the Tennessee border. So you don't have anything to note in Stevenson and Bridgeport right now. However, you need to be on guard. This is heading your way. So what I will do is put an updated track on that so I can get you some times of arrival, and we'll go from there with that. So high top, make sure you're in your safe place. 429 for you. This includes the Skyline Wildlife Management Area. They'll be there around 433, and then the Stevenson area 448, around 457 in Bridgeport. Orm, if it goes that far north, at 452. New Hope South Pitt area around 5 o'clock, and even the Jasper area around 506. Again, if it looks like it'll stay south of there, but still stay on guard. And in the Shallow area on Sand Mountain at 5 o'clock. So again, we also have another severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued for the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts that covers most of Franklin County and Jackson County as well, and along with DeKalb County, Alabama. So this also includes Henniger, Sylvania, Ider, Valley Head, Hammondville, down to Mentone, not Fort Payne, but north of there. So all of you here across all of northeast Alabama, up into southern Franklin County, Tennessee, just make sure you are inside in a good, safe place, away from windows here until this passes. Do not wait to see or hear this coming. You will not hear it. This will be wrapped in rain, and if there's any kind of quick spin up, you're not going to see it because it's so wrapped up in rain that it's going to be practically impossible for anybody to see it. So again, I am currently live here on Facebook and YouTube, and we now have a confirmed tornado. So you see this polygon just change right there, and you heard that ding. That means we now have a confirmed tornado. Let me get you the information on that. And there it is. So let me explain what this product is here real quick, because I don't show this very often unless there's tornado debris, as in this case. What you see in this middle part right here, where you see you got the red around it, and in the middle you see the light green and yellow, what that's an indication of is stuff that is non-uniform, non-meteorological. That would include stuff like tree limbs, building stuff, everything else. That means debris has been lofted. So what that's being picked up as is a negative value right there east of Newmarket. So something has been hit by a tornado in the Newmarket, Alabama area. So now this is now a confirmed tornado. So we have to kind of up the ante a little bit on this, unfortunately. So if you are in northwest Jackson County, along and west of Highway 79, from High Top west, you need to be seeking shelter. I cannot stress it enough. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. If you got a helmet or anything to wear, please do that because there's flying debris. And if you're out there on the road, you need to either turn around or find somewhere nearby structure, and get inside it because you don't want to be caught out in this. As I said, this is a very serious situation. So what you see here, this dark red, brown polygon on here, that's a confirmed tornado warning, which means there is a tornado on the ground causing damage here, halfway between Newmarket and High Top, crossing from Madison County into Jackson County, moving east. So again, if you're along Highway 117, especially north and west of downtown Stevenson, stay alert. Be prepared to seek shelter, because if it does hold together, this will be impacting your area here within the hour. So that's why I want to emphasize here on this storm. So this is a very serious situation. Again, for those of you here across North Alabama and even the extreme southern end of Franklin County, Tennessee, even though I'll be honest with you, based on the circulation, it's going to stay mostly on the Alabama side. So I don't think you have anything really concerning up in here across southern Franklin County. But either way, just make sure you are seeking shelter here along and west of Highway 79 in Jackson County, Alabama here as this moves off to the east. So if you know somebody in that area up in here, if you know somebody in High Top or Skyline, make sure that you tag them, you do whatever you got to do, call, text, whatever that may be, and make sure they know that there is a confirmed tornado here, causing damage here, moving into the northwest tip of Jackson County and out of Madison County. So this is again, as I said, a very serious situation here. Again, I'll read you out that report, that observed report that came in. Confirmed tornado was located near New Market or 10 miles northeast of Moore's Mill, moving east at 45 miles an hour. Hazards: a damaging tornado. It's a radar confirmed tornado. Locations that are in the path of this include Skyline, High Top, Estill Fork, Francisco, and Larkin. So again, we'll check that debris signature here and see what it looks like. Thankfully, it seems to be losing its grip, so I think this tornado is probably lifting. As I said, it was likely a quick spin up, but there's still a little bit right in here where there is a little bit of debris, and that's moving due east. So Larkin, Estill Fork, High Top, Jericho, seek shelter. It can't be stressed enough down in here, in these areas here in the northwest tip of Jackson County. Again, I want to emphasize this point. This is not going to affect Scottsboro. If you're down towards Scottsboro or Sand Mountain, this is not going to affect you. This is going to stay north of you. You will get heavy thunderstorms with the potential for damaging winds coming out of the Huntsville area, but the good news is you do not have to worry about a tornado. This is staying to your north and west. So that's the good news for you guys. But again, if you're down the line of this, heading out towards the Highway 72 corridor as well as Highway 117 towards Stevenson and Bridgeport, just make sure that you guys are staying alert here, because this is heading in your direction. At least this line is, and you're going to have the potential for damaging winds, lightning, heavy rain, and also the possibility, and I cannot rule out the chance, of there being a quick spin-up tornado along this leading edge. And again, they'll be brief, but they will be quite, but it could be quite rough here. So that's why I'm emphasizing this point here, to make sure that you guys are seeking shelter. So again, I'm also getting this warning information out here also on this end, just in case for those that can't see the live, I can get that also out there. But yeah, this is the situation right now that we're dealing with. Now, if you're hearing the dings in the background and stuff, what that means is as I said, I have these alerts and everything sounded, at least for the tornado warnings, to where if it's a confirmed tornado, you'll hear a little ding, so that way it lets you know that, hey, it's on the ground. So that's what you're hearing every now and then in the background. So don't want you to get freaked out by that, but just want to let you know that's how I'm seeing it here. So I'm also broadcasting this on my YouTube channel as well. So if you are watching on Facebook, and if you also want to watch on the YouTube side, you can do that as well. Now, the velocity on this, thankfully, the good news is this is continuing to weaken, at least the rotation part. I mean, we're still seeing some at least 60 to 70 mile an hour wind up in here, so unfortunately it's still producing a lot of wind, but thankfully the rotation is a lot more disorganized than it was earlier. So some really encouraging news here across this area. But I will check and see what the debris field looks like, and the good thing here is I do think it's lifted at this point. As you see, we're not seeing as strong of a signature anymore as we did a few minutes ago, as it was over New Market, but thankfully it hasn't re-intensified or anything like that at this point. So that's a good news there with that. But again, stay on guard here across northeast Alabama here as this moves off to the east, and eventually, if it holds together, southern Marion County, Dade, Walker, perhaps southern Hamilton County. Make sure you're staying on guard and watching this carefully, because this line of thunderstorms, man, it means business as this moves off to the east. So just make sure that you are in a good place to where you'll be able to seek shelter at, and also charge your devices. I will say this over and over again. In southern Marion County, down through northeast Alabama, and even into Dade and Walker County, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you charge, as a friendly reminder, to charge up your devices here, because this line could knock out power, especially when you have strong straight line winds that get upwards into the 60 to a 70 mile an hour range. You got to really watch that carefully here. So again, we got multiple warnings in effect, and all of them right now are confined to this area as I do the quick overview. Again, these storms out to the east around Chatsworth, Polk County down south, these are non-severe, and nothing going on up around the upper Cumberland at this point. From McMinnville north, you guys are fine. Grundy County, you're going to be fine with this. You don't have to worry about anything. I will say, though, that from, we'll say, Sherwood, Jasper, and south, that's going to be the zone here for the next hour or two to stay aware. And especially as you get down here across northeast Alabama, Sand Mountain, into our northwest Georgia communities here. So these are going to be the areas, and I will put this draw line right here. This is going to be the zone here through the next hour or so at least, to where the main threat of severe weather is going to be. So right in this zone I just drew here. So in a nutshell, that's what's going on. So the area in brown you see is that confirmed tornado warning that remains in effect for parts of northwest Jackson and southwestern Franklin. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to give you the all clear in Franklin County, at least from a tornado, because it's staying south of you by a good bit. So if you're down there south of Huntland towards Keith Springs Mountain, you don't have to worry about a tornado. Now, you do have the potential for heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and damaging wind, but at the same time, at least the worst of this is going to stay south of you. So good thing for y'all. But high top, Alabama, make sure you're sheltered. Skyline, as a course of least regret, I would seek shelter, but it does look like the worst of this is going to pass just to your north. But you're going to get quite a bit of heavy rain and wind. But as far as a tornado is concerned, I think this tornado is going to stay north of you. It's probably going to stay more on the high top side of Jackson County than the skyline side. So just want to let you know there. Now for Stevenson and Bridgeport, be prepared for heavy rain and damaging winds here, and again the possibility of a quick spin up tornado. Can't rule that out here, as well as Bryant and Higdon here on Sand Mountain. So again, the area I've highlighted in this little box here, this white box you may see on the screen, these are the zones here. This is the main area that's going to be impacted by these severe thunderstorms here within the next hour to 2 hours, basically between now and roughly 6 p.m. Now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning update, and as you see, the dark brown on that means a considerable tag. So this severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson and DeKalb has been changed to a considerable damage tag. This is for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Severe thunderstorms will locate along a line extending from Timms Ford Lake to 6 miles northwest of Skyline to near Gurley. It's moving northeast at 75 miles an hour. Hazard is 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It is radar indicated. Locations in the path of this include Scottsboro, Fort Payne, Bridgeport, Henniger, Stevenson, Sylvania, Hollywood, and Skyline. So those of you in those areas, make sure you're inside in a safe place away from windows, because this is what's called a considerable tagged severe thunderstorm warning, which means the potential is there for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And I'll tell you this, we're probably going to get on the leading edge of this, there's probably going to be a very sharp shelf cloud and all that. And remember, the wind in this kind of situation, when you're dealing with a straight line wind situation like this, you will typically get the wind first before you get the rain. So the wind will precede that heavy rain and everything else. That's what I'm saying. If you get, for example, like this tornado warning in northwest Jackson County, you're not going to see a tornado because it's going to be so wrapped up in rain, you're just not going to be able to see it. So that's why, I'm saying to get inside, get in a good safe place away from windows here until this passes. Again, I'm also live on my personal page, Chase Bryant, over there, and also on the YouTube channel as well if you also want to watch coverage over there. I got that option for you. So there's multiple different ways that you can be able to see what I'm tracking here. So let's get into the velocities here and see what's going on. And I tell you, this wind is nasty up in here. Showing here, this is about 500 feet off the ground, showing some 80 up in here. So 70 to 80 being indicated up around here. There's one around Francisco. There's one around Estill Fork. So yeah, this is some really serious stuff here, moving right down the state line. And I'm just one of those people that will tell you like it is, and I'm telling you like it is here. This is a very serious situation here for southern Franklin County as well as northern Jackson County. And for Franklin County, this is not going to impact Winchester. So if you're up around Winchester, Suwanee, Belvedere, you have nothing to worry about. This is passing to your south by a pretty good bit. So some good news there for you guys. You don't have to worry about this up there. Now, I will say, if you are from Keith Springs Mountain over towards Anderson, Sherwood, down to the state line, you do need to be seeking shelter because you do have that possibility of a significant straight line wind damage. But as you get farther north, not a big issue. But again, Jackson County, the main threat's going to be from about Woodville, Henniger, and north. Now, it does appear, I think, the worst of this probably misses Scottsboro to the north, at least the wind part of it. But unfortunately, this is going to head towards Fackler, Skyline. Pretty much, it's hitting Skyline High Top pretty much now. And it's going to be over in Stevenson, Bridgeport, Flat Rock, Higdon, even the north side of Ider, up towards the Bryant area, Russell Cave, Bass. This is all heading in your vicinities here within the next hour. So make sure you're inside in a good, safe place here until this passes. Now, they also upgraded the severe thunderstorm warning in Franklin County to a considerable tag as well. So these are these dark brown polygons you see on the map. Those are the brown polygons. These are the considerable severe thunderstorm warnings, and of course the dark red, that's the confirmed tornado warning. And let's check and see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any evidence, thankfully, of any debris. I really think at this point, this is the main story right here. This right here, this big wall of wind here moving right across and right down the state line here. So the fact that we're able to see this at such a low angle, I mean, that's just impressive in itself. So that's definitely something that to take note here as this moves off to the north and east. Again, we'll put on a quick storm track here so that way we give heads ups here because this is going to be the most important thing of all. So let's give heads ups here all the way down the line, and I'm even going to put Chattanooga in this track just to be on the safe side. So we'll go down some communities here. Orem around 4:55, Bridgeport about 5 o'clock. So Stevenson area between about 4:40 and 5, I would say for you. New Hope, South Pitt area 5 to 5:10. About 5:10 in Jasper. 5:15 for Little Squatchy if it gets that far north. Haletown about 5:18. Whiteside around 5:21, as well as the Trenton area. And in downtown Chattanooga about 5:38. So heads up. That's actually correction there. That's 6:38 Eastern. So 6:38 for downtown Chattanooga, 6:21 for Trenton, and then down for Rossville about 6:40. Same with Chickamauga and Red Bank, they're around 6:40 as well. So this is about a 2-hour track of where this is going within the next 1-2 hours here, as these very serious severe thunderstorms move across the area. I mean, this is a very serious situation. And by the way, of course, here was the damaging tornado right here. You see here, that's the confirmed one. But as I said, I don't think there's a tornado there anymore. I think at this point, the main threat is damaging wind. And whoa, I think that's a little high there. I don't think that's 100, but that's definitely at least probably good 70, if not even upwards of 80 in that area. So this warning could get upgraded even further if this strengthening continues here on this north end. We'll see if that matches up, and well, unfortunately it does. So again, get ready for power outages here around Bridgeport and Stevenson. I can't stress enough, and that also goes up as far north as South Pittsburgh and New Hope. If you haven't had your devices charged, I suggest you do so. I mean, I typically don't get this blunt about things like this, but when you have a damaging wind situation as serious as this is, you got to take it seriously and be prepared to head to your safe spot. Now we have a new tornado warning for southeastern Franklin County and northern Jackson County. So this does include Suwannee. So the sirens are going off in Suwannee, but I think the worst of this stays south of you. Sherwood, Anderson, Bass. You have a new tornado warning. So let me get that information out to you. Again, guys, let's help spread the word here, because this is a very serious situation happening here. And these storms are knocking on the door of some of our most populated areas here. So we got to really take this seriously. So again, this is going to be for southeastern Franklin County. And let's see, and here we go. This goes in effect until 5 o'clock p.m. Central for north central Jackson County and southeastern Franklin County. At 4:23, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles southeast of Huntland, moving east at 45 miles an hour. There are multiple areas of rotation noted northwest of High Top, Alabama, and this storm has a history of producing a tornado. Those of you in the following locations need to seek shelter: Bass, High Top, St. Andrews, Anderson, Sherwood, Jericho. Those are the locations that need to be taking your tornado precautions here. I know we got a lot going on with all these different polygons and such, but again, this is what's going on here right now. So that's what we're seeing here. So again, possible tornado here on the northwest side of High Top, up near the Franklin County, Tennessee line, moving due east, right down the border, right down the state line, I should say, and right there. And eventually that is heading towards, if it holds together, the Bridgeport area, up towards Orme, Sweetens Cove, South Pitt, New Hope. If you know anybody in those areas that may not be aware of what's going on, make sure that you let them know that, hey, there's dangerous severe storms with the possibility of damaging winds and a quick spin-up tornado, and possibly multiple of them moving from west to east. I mean, there's actually been multiple indications in here, and let me check velocity to verify that. I'm not seeing anything really significant on that end from here, but if you look closely, there are some spots in here that do indicate that possibility of some quick spinning rotation. So hopefully as this moves east, I'm hoping it'll run into a little bit of cooler air here, and hopefully this thing will weaken, but we just can't really hang our hat on that right now. So those of you around the High Top area, just make sure you're staying sheltered, and the shelter advice goes all the way out to Alabama Highway 117 north out of downtown Stevenson. So as a course of least regret, I would seek shelter in Stevenson, but the tornadic part of this, barring a sudden south turn or something, that will probably stay to your north, at least the tornadic part. But either way, you're going to have some very torrential rain, the potential for damaging winds, and all that up in here through the next, within about the next 20 to 30 minutes. Again, this is moving east here at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So that's why I'm saying to take this thing seriously here in those areas. So that's what I'm seeing here at this time. Again, here was the recent warning update that expires in 2 minutes. So that was the other one to the west, and this one is taken over. So notice the tornado warning cuts off here, the eastern edge of it, where you see this red. It cuts off right at the Marion County line. So it goes up to about the Franklin State Forest, right down 156 there on top of Orme Mountain. So you don't technically have any kind of warning there yet, but I would definitely stay on guard in case that were to change here over the next little bit. So that's something that I'm watching here over the next 20 to 30 minutes as it moves off to the east. So let's put up another quick updated storm path here, since we now have a new movement and speed and all that. And we'll just track this off to the east here. I'll actually keep it kind of short for now and then rotate it in from there. So again, those of you around Anderson, this will be in your area around 443. Orme around 451, as well as Montague there around Russell Cave. Cooper's Mill 452. Sweetens Cove about 456. Richard City 457. Bridgeport about 458. South Pitt about 459. Kimball around 502. Long Island about 501. So that's the zone right now that needs to keep an eye on this. Again, as I said, no formal warning on the Marion side yet, but as I said, stay on guard and be ready to seek shelter here at a moment's notice, in case you do end up getting upgraded at some point, which I bet there will at least be a severe thunderstorm warning issued, I'd say at the bare minimum, for Dade County and as well as Marion and perhaps Hamilton. And speaking of which, there you go. So there's your new severe thunderstorm warning. It's got a tag as considerable, and this is going to be for all of Marion County. So this is going to go in effect. Let me get you the time frame on that. So that's new information here coming in now until 5:15. At 4:29, a severe thunderstorm was located 11 miles northeast of Skyline or 16 miles south of Winchester. It is moving east at 50 miles an hour. Hazard is 70 mile an hour wind gusts. It is radar indicated. Impact, expect considerable tree damage. Locations that are in the path of this include Jasper, South Pittsburgh, Whitwell, Kimball, Mott Eagle, Powell's Crossroads, Orme, Martin Springs, Fiery Gizzard, and Haletown. So if you are in Marion County, especially the southern half of the county, especially the closer you are to the Alabama state line, and across the Stevenson, Bridgeport areas, even as far south as Scottsboro. Make sure that if you haven't charged your devices or anything up yet, make sure you do that, because there is a pretty decent chance, especially with the way these winds are blowing at 60 to 70 miles an hour, with along this leading edge of these thunderstorms, there's a pretty good chance you'll at least have power bumps, if not power outages. So that's why I'm saying to, get inside and just find somewhere safe here until this passes, because and the good thing here is this is going to be quick. This is not going to last very long, but for those minutes it's here, it's going to be pretty rough. So let's query some of these winds I'm seeing out in here, and this tornado warned storm on the Jackson County side. Again, we're still seeing some 70 to 80 showing up here about 200 feet off the ground. So there's a pretty good chance a lot of this is actually verifying at the surface, at least very close to the surface here. So that's what I'm saying, to take this very seriously here. Across the southern half of Marion County and northeastern Jackson County. So, as I said, spread the word on this, and that way we can get people aware of what's going on. And again, this was earlier. Again, that was the debris signature around New Market that was around there earlier that prompted all this. So, that's the situation with that. As I said, that's the situation right now. So here's the main line, continuing down to the south. Again, Scottsboro, you're kind of getting the lighter end of it, but even there, it's still pretty gusty. But again, the most severe part of this storm is right now moving across the northern end of Jackson County and essentially following right along the the Franklin Jackson County line and getting ready to head out towards South Pitt. Again, this is heading right down the pike towards the South Pitt area, so make sure you are seeking shelter out in here. So if you're on the road somewhere out in here, go ahead and go find a more sturdier place that will be able to withstand these higher wind gusts in here. That will at least help with that. So just whatever you got to do to make sure you're staying safe. So that's the main priority here. Let's check and see if we got any indications of tornadic debris back out in here. So far, no. That's the good news. So maybe that's a sign that I'm hoping we're losing at least the tornadic indication. But at the same time, it's not going to take a lot of wind to knock trees down. Remember, the ground is very saturated here. So it's not going to take a whole lot of wind to really cause issues, at least on the scale of things when it comes to the wind mode. So that's why I'm saying you need to be thinking about your safe place here and all that as this moves off to the east. Again, let's check this newest scan. Right around the Bass community, it's showing winds around 80 miles an hour in here. So this is going to be, as I said, a very serious situation, about to cross over 117, heading towards Bridgeport here in a matter of minutes. So, again, Bridgeport, get ready for damaging wind. It's about to knock on your doorstep, as well as Stevenson. And here's Highway 72. So, I'll be honest with you, I would not advise travel here. I would not advise travel along Highway 72 from Kimball to Scottsboro until this storm passes. Okay? That's what I would advise on this. The good news is that considerable severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County has been downgraded to a regular one, as the heaviest winds are trending more towards the state line. So that's some good news down towards Scottsboro. You're not in the considerable tag anymore, but you're still going to have some potentially up to 60-mile-an-hour winds there for that area, as well as Sand Mountain in northern DeKalb County. Again, though, those of you up here around the state line, especially from Stevenson north to Bridgeport and up into southeastern Franklin County around Anderson and Sherwood, east through the Jasper area, down through Kimball, South Pitt, New Hope, Lake Nickajack out in here, and eventually, if it holds together within the next hour and a half or so, this is going to move right into the Chattanooga Metro. So we got to watch that carefully too. Hopefully it weakens before then, but you really just can't guarantee it right now because of this situation. So that's why I'm saying just to be on guard here. And again, the big difference in these warning polygons here real fast is that this red you see, that's the tornado warning. That remains in effect for the next 25 minutes for southeastern Franklin and northern Jackson. This brown polygon you see in Marion County, that's a considerable tagged severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of damaging winds, and that could be upwards of 70 miles an hour. That's the criteria there for at least the potential for the damaging winds. Now we do have another thunderstorm that's fired up. I want to note right around Martin Springs, heading up towards Foster Falls, but this is not the severe storm. This right here is the this one to the south and west is the severe one. You can see the structure on this, how it's bowed out. You got a little bowed out feature there moving towards Fackler and Stevenson. You got another bowed out feature right in there, crossing over 117 and Highway 56 and moving right at Orem and eventually towards Bridgeport and South Pitt here in a matter of minutes. That right there is where you're going to find your strongest winds here, where you find these little bows along the leading edge. That's where the potential for the most damaging winds is going to be. So that's going to be the zone here that we have to keep an eye out on here for the potential for those damaging winds as it moves from west to east across our area. Again, I do want to emphasize, as I do a quick overview, these areas are the only ones that have severe weather ongoing. So southeastern Franklin, most of Jackson, northern DeKalb County, Alabama, Marion County, Tennessee. These are the only counties right now that have a threat of severe weather at this moment, including the potential for damaging winds and quick spin-up tornadoes. I do want to emphasize that point here. Again, as a quick reminder, I'm also broadcasting this live on YouTube as well, and also on my other personal page, Chase Bryant, as well. So there's multiple, as I said, multiple different ways you can find this live coverage here as we go forward. And as this continues moving east, this is going to continue to grow, and this could very well be a problem as this moves off to the east. Hopefully it weakens before it gets into the metro area, but still at the same time, this is definitely rough. So let's show you the wind field in this. Showing again about 70, about 400 feet off the ground, right around the Anderson area. Also around Bass in the northeast part of Jackson County, showing some 60 to 70 in here as well. So not quite destructive, but it's definitely strong. Here's another little spot here that's showing some more intense wind, 60 to 70 there, about to hit the 117-72 junction there, right around Crow Creek in Stevenson, around 60 in Fackler. Winds calm down a little bit towards Scottsboro, but they're still pretty strong. And we now have a tornado warning for northeastern Jackson County. And I got a tornado warning on my phone. So that means we have a tornado warning, I think, in Marion County, So some of your phones might have just gone off. Boy, that just startled me right there. But we now have tornado warnings in effect here. First of all, for northeastern Jackson County and northeastern DeKalb County until 5:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Stevenson or 11 miles southwest of Bridgeport, moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. Multiple areas of rotation in this storm segment are capable of producing a tornado. Locations that will be in the path of this also include Fabius, Fackler, Higdon, Martintown, Long Island, and Russell Cave. So, again, this is definitely getting intense here. So you might have just heard my phone go off there in the background. That means there is a tornado warning in effect. And I've not seen this pop up on my screen here just yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So let me see what I can get. I don't know, maybe if that was just a destructive tag or whatever. But, again, northeast Jackson County, tornado warning right now in effect for your area. And this is going to be, let me show you the circulation potential here. Here's the one about to move into the Stevenson area. This one up in here is not as strong, but there's definitely some very intense winds here moving right towards Highway 72 in the Bridgeport South Pitt area. And then down in here, here's the other area. Let's check and see if we got any debris in that. Thankfully, no. So far, not seen any, so that's some good news. So hopefully this continues to stay that way. Hopefully it doesn't do anything more, but you can just see the swirl and everything else in this. As I said, it's a very serious line of storms here. I mean, you can just see how it curls and everything else. And right along that leading edge of that is where you're going to find that damaging wind threat. Again, wind gusts could exceed, in some areas, not all. Most get probably 60 to 70 across Marion and northeast Jackson counties, but there's going to be some isolated pockets in here that do get some gusts upwards of potentially 60 to even 70. That could even get some gusts upwards of 70 to 80 in a few areas, I should say. So there will be localized higher gusts in here for those that are in the path of that. So I've not gotten word of any warning extensions at this point, but I'm sure that's probably coming down the pike. But again, this is the situation we're dealing with here right now. So as I query some of these amounts, you can see there's a 60 to 70 moving into Stevenson. There's another 60 to the south, and then there's even some 70 to 80 up in here that's moving towards the Bridgeport area as well as South Pitt and New Hope. So again, take these storms very seriously here, friends. These are very powerful storms here moving across the southern Squatchy Valley, about to move into the southern Squatchy Valley, and then south across northeast Alabama here from really just from Hollywood up north and east. As I said, very serious situation here ongoing with the possibility of quick spin-up tornadoes and, of course, that damaging wind threat. Now, I've not heard of any confirmed reports of damage or anything like that, at least yet. I haven't had the chance to look at that, but again, that's not really the main importance right now. But I do want to point out that at least so far, I've not had any reports of new reports, at least yet, of any kind of major damage. Just make sure that you are, again, seeking shelter in these areas. Again, so I'm going to put out a quick note as well to for those in Marion and Jackson counties here to seek shelter. Damaging wind and that possibility as well. So this is going to be, as I said, we'll put on some tracks real fast so I can get that information out here. So we'll put this off to the east, and again, we'll give Trenton a heads up here because it's heading your way. So downtown Stevenson right now, essentially. Higdon, 456, about 502 Coal City, that's 602 Eastern, 602 for Trenton, 604 for New England. Now we go up here on the Marion side. Let's check this out. We'll go up in here, track that at about the same speed. Again, some of the locations in the path of that include South Pitt around 452, so Orem basically now, South Pitt around 452. Kimball about 454, Jasper about 458, about 5 o'clock for Little Squatchy, Ladd's, Haletown area about 502, 503, Mineral Springs around 504, and Prentice Cooper around 509. Now, I've not, again, it does appear, at least right now, we don't have a tornado warning in Marion County at this time, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of damaging winds. And I'll tell you, this wind down in here, especially in Jackson County, is really, really rough down in here. So let me show you the newest scan I have. And yeah, that's showing some 80, about 700 feet off the ground, southeast of Anderson and west of Russell Cave. And there's some more 70 to 80 in there. And then down around Stevenson, it does drop off to about 50 to 60 down in here. So, but it's still strong enough. And another thing to watch is to see how this behaves as this goes up Sand Mountain here, because we'll see whether or not this can, because sometimes what can happen is if that gust front slows down and the line gets caught up to it down there, that could increase the possibility down that way of a quick spin-up tornado. Again, there's the latest information I could find on that. There's your tornado warning that remains in effect for the next 45 minutes for northeast Jackson County and northern DeKalb County. Again, I'm not seeing any real evidence. I mean, the rotation's thankfully much weaker, but we're seeing a lot of wind in here, and that's really the main story in this, and really the main threat is that damaging wind potential. Now, once you get up to the north of this, especially once you get really north of Jasper here, once you get up towards Whitwell and Griffith Creek up in here, I don't think y'all have as much to worry about here. You got a strong thunderstorm, but up in here in the northern end of the county, I don't think you have near as much to worry about than the southern end of the county, which is where the most severe part of the storm will go through. So really, as I say, from Sweetens Cove, Jasper, Griffith Highway, Prentice Cooper south, all the way down to the state line here, this is going to be the zone that needs to be watched for the next half hour for the potential damaging winds. So if you do, again, make sure that you have your stuff charged up and whatever you got to do to stay safe out of this. I mean, again, seek shelter in Jackson and Marion counties here until this passes. And again, these warnings here, I'll put a quick reminder, these will expire here in about, this one in Marion expires at 5:15. This tornado warning in Jackson County expires at 5:30, so they won't last too long. But the good thing here is we got to keep an eye on this as it moves off to these, because eventually it's going to move into Dade County. So I said Dade County, I've been giving y'all that heads up here for about the past hour, but this is approaching you. Walker County, Catoosa County, heading your way next. So after it gets through Dade County and this part of Sand Mountain here in northeast Alabama, it's going to move into Walker County. Then it's going to be Catoosa. And then after this segment of the storms moves through Marion, this is going to be a Hamilton County issue, especially the southern half of Hamilton County. So especially once you think south of Saudi Daisy, really. Once you get south of Saudi, through Chattanooga, through Red Bank, even as far north as Hickson, east of Ottawa, just make sure that you are aware of this and be prepared in the case these warnings get extended, that you seek shelter. So that's why I'm saying, just make sure, you're getting inside. And if you're outside in any of these areas, just make sure you get inside. Don't be outside running around in this. Just get inside and get inside somewhere safe. Let's check velocities here real fast and see. We're about to get a new update here in a matter of minutes, so I'll wait on that. Looking here, normalized rotation. Thankfully, it's very messy. So, as I said, I think the main threat with this is going to be damaging winds. And, of course, that potential, for a quick spin of tornado. But I really think that wind is the main deal with this as it moves across northeast Alabama here and also into Marion County, Tennessee here, and also northern DeKalb County. I know I haven't talked much about you guys down here around Hammondville, Valley Head, and Henniger, but because you're going to be on the south side of this down in here. But you're going to be close enough to where you're going to want to watch this carefully as this goes along here, as this moves from west to east. So that's the situation there at this time. And again, this is not to panic anybody, not to scare anyone, but I'm just being real with you when I say there's that potential for widespread damaging winds and the potential for even these little quick spin ups. You just got to watch them. All right, here's a new update on the scan that just came in. I'm not seeing any imminent areas of rotation, but let's check out some of these these wind fields there. Look at that, 88. Again, this is about 900 feet off the ground, so that subtracts probably to about 70, 75, maybe 80 at the surface, but you get the idea. Bridgeport, this is pretty much right over you as we speak. So Bridgeport is really getting the brunt of this right now, and this is about a couple minutes away from crossing into South Pittsburgh as well. So South Pitt, out towards Long Island, they're along Highway 156 there through New Hope. So Dollar General, City Hall, Colonial Chemical, out towards the dam. This is all heading in your direction. Also, some more heavy wind and rain around Sweetens Cove, heading right down towards Battle Creek Road, I-24, Kimball area. So all the restaurants and businesses there in Kimball, make sure everybody's inside and away from windows here until this passes. Same goes for Jasper, the entire town of Jasper here. So from Pryor Cove south especially, so the whole town in a nutshell, along Main Street, all the way out towards a Pleasant Grove area, out towards a Griffith Highway, Loves, all that points south to the river, and down into Ladd's, Whiteside, east into Haletown, and even as far north as Little Squatchy. Make sure that you are also inside and away from windows here until this passes. Again, as I said, this is not to panic anybody, but again, it's something that I'm warning of because of this possibility that you could have a quick, not only the potential for damaging wind, which is the main threat here, but there's also that threat for a quick spin-up tornado as this moves from west to east across the area here. Also, just read there were some sirens going off in Bridgeport as that tornado warning was issued. Grundy County, the good news is for Grundy County, I don't see this being a threat for you. If you're in, and also I want to give some all clears here real fast. Franklin County, you're clear. You don't have to worry about this anymore. We got another round of storms that's forming out near Memphis is heading this way. But as far as this, from this complex of storms, you're good in Franklin County. Grundy County, no problem for you. Even Squatchy County, no problem for you. Coffee County, north towards Bledsoe, Warren County, Van Buren, you're good. Dayton, you're good. The main area that I'm watching here, and I'll put this in, I'll draw this out so everybody can see it. This is the zone that I'm watching over the next hour to 2 hours. It's going to be this area right here. So this is the zone right in here that I'm watching. So all these cities in here and the others that are in the middle of all these, stay alert. Stay alert here. We also now have a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and 1-inch hail that now runs for Dade, Walker, Catoosa, and Whitfield counties. So that's for that complex of storms that's coming out of Sand Mountain, heading in your direction. So as we got multiple areas having severe weather at this time, make sure that you are getting inside here. So let me get you that information. This is a line of severe thunderstorms were located along the line extending from Bridgeport to near Fabius to near Dutton, moving east at 50 miles an hour. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. It is radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Dalton, Lafayette, Ringgold, Trenton, Fort O, Rossville, Chickamauga, Varnell, Lookout Mountain, Tunnel Hill, Cohutta, Center Post, Blue Spring, Chattanooga Valley, Fairview, Linwood, and Hooker, and Villanelle. Those are the locations that are in the path of that. Again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Whitfield, Catoosa, Dade, and Walker counties in northwest Georgia. So not to forget about you guys. Sand Mountain here, again, as I said, we're going to go from south to north here. So we'll start here and work up and back up into Marion here. I do see the possibility along the leading edge. There could be a couple of quick little spin-ups here trying to form right here on Sand Mountain. So Higdon, Bryant area, seek shelter. This is where you have the possibility of a quick spin-up tornado. And damaging wind's the main threat, but can't rule out the possibility of a quick spin-up there. Bridgeport, the worst of this is pretty much over you as we speak and moving into Long Island. So make sure y'all are hunkered down over here as well, around Bryant, up through New Hope. There's the lake right there. There's Nickajack Lake. There's Lads, Whiteside, up through Jasper, Kimball. Make sure you guys are in your safe spots here and at least being away from windows until this passes. So the good news here, at least at this time, from what I'm seeing, it appears that at least the tornadic potential is likely going to stay south out of Marion County the way I'm seeing it right now. I think the main threat for the southern half of Marion County is going to be from those damaging winds. If there's going to be a quick spin up, it's more than likely going to be this southern kind of part of the line down in here, moving across Sand Mountain, moving towards Trenton. So if you are in the Trenton area, I know you don't have a tornado warning, you have a severe thunderstorm warning, but you need to be on that guard for the possibility of a quick spin up that may suddenly form with little to or no advance notice. Now you get up here towards Whitwell and Griffith Creek. I know it's probably thundering and you got some heavy rain up here, but the worst of all this is staying to your south, so you do not have to worry about this severe storm. I mean, the way the motion is, it's going to carry it just south of you. So it may sneak up towards maybe Victoria, possibly Crossroads Park on the north end, but it stays out. This severe storm stays out of most of Whitwell and Crossroads from the way I'm seeing it. This is going to be mainly from a Little Squatchy over towards Jasper Highlands and south, and also extending from Kettner Mill and south. So really, you can cut kind of Marion County in half here, and the southern half are the ones that are going to be getting the worst of this and are as we speak. Again, if you're watching from any of these areas, whether it's Jackson or Marion or even Dade or wherever it may be, feel free to let me know what's going on in the comments section. Give some reports here, so that way maybe that'll help with some ground truth. If you're in a safe position, of course. But if you're hearing anything, whatever that is, feel free to put that in, so that way it might help for those that may be wondering what could be ahead down the road and all that. Again, let's check out and query some of the winds here for you. Right around the Long Island area. Again, this is over 1,000 feet off the ground, so it's probably at the surface is about 10 to 15 lower, but this is showing 86. So that's about 70 to 75, I would say, about that surface level there, tracking right along the state line here towards the tri-state border where Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee come together right there. So this is passing right along and south of 156. That's where the heaviest winds are. So 156 south, so South Pitt over to Lads, even as far north as Haletown. That's where the heaviest wind is. And that's tracking right down the state line. So Whiteside, make sure you're sheltered over there, at least from the wind, at least away from windows. New Home, Coal City, same thing. Wildwood, make sure you're seeking shelter as well, at least inside, away from windows. Again, Hamilton County, Metro Chattanooga here. This is only, and I'm just going to time this out here. This is only about less than 30 minutes from you. So let's put that path on there and show you when that gets to town. Again, downtown Chattanooga at around 6:16. So you got about 20 minutes in downtown. And now this has been upgraded to a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. So you just saw that polygon change on the map, and my phone's going off here. This is a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-an-hour winds with a tornado possible tag. Again, this doesn't come around very often, so I want to show you what this is. This is you see this purple here on the screen? Let me show you what that says. Extremely dangerous situation, tornado possible tag, 80-mile-an-hour radar indicated wind. That area I was just showing you around, right around Long Island and New Hope, that's the area where they're seeing the wind. So let me read that information out to you. That's a destructive severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 p.m. Eastern, 5:45 p.m. Central. At 4:55 p.m. Central, a severe thunderstorm was located over Jasper, moving east at 50 miles an hour. This is a destructive severe thunderstorm for Chattanooga. That's what they're saying, or this is basically a severe thunderstorm emergency in another sense. This is radar indicated. Locations that are, and it says here, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be heavily damaged. So if you're in Hamilton County, and areas in eastern Marion that haven't had the storm yet, your time is now to get out of that mobile home. Unfortunately, this is a severe thunderstorm situation that you cannot be in a mobile home in. So especially for those of you in Hamilton County, down through Whiteside and Haletown and Marion County, you cannot be in a mobile home in this situation. You need to find more adequate shelter here. Because when you have winds that get 70, 80 miles an hour like this, that right there is not only going to knock out power, but that's also going to be a major issue, and that could easily knock out mobile homes and other stuff as well, knock down trees and everything else. So this is a very serious situation here. Again, I'm not seeing evidence of a tornado, at least right now. I know there's that tornado possible tag, but again, the main thing and my main concern with this is the wind damage. Also, Dade County, you don't have that tag down in Dade County and down through Walker as well, but you also have the potential for up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts down that way. So no matter where you are, whether it's in Marion or Hamilton or Jackson, Sand Mountain, and Northwest Georgia, all of you have the potential for damaging winds here that could be on the order of 60 to 80 miles an hour. Again, the last time we saw this was actually last June when we had that squall come through that one time back last June. So we actually have had this recently. It was just a year ago. So unfortunately, it's kind of happening again here. And we now have a tornado warning for Dade, Walker, and Catoosa. So unfortunately, things have changed here. So we now have a tornado warning for Dade, Walker, and Catoosa counties. So let me get that information out. I said the warnings are coming out fast and furious here. So let me get this information out. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Higdon or near Trenton, moving east at 40 miles an hour. This is for Catoosa, Dade, Walker, and Dade counties in Georgia until 6:45. Locations that are in the path of this include Ringgold, Trenton, Fordo, Chickamauga, Chattanooga Valley, Noble, Blue Spring, Stevensville, Fairview, Boynton, which is in Ringgold, New England, Cloudland Canyon, Cooper Heights, and Rock Spring. So those of you in that area need to be seeking shelter as we speak, as there is the potential for a tornado in that area. So just make sure that you're inside in a good, safe place here until this passes here. As I said, make sure y'all are helping spread the word here, to share this live out, whatever you got to do. If you know somebody that lives in this area, tag them. Just let them know that there's that potential that they have a destructive thunderstorm that could produce a quick spin of tornado at any time. So let's show you where that area of rotation is. It's crossing pretty much out of Higdon and moving into Dade County as we speak. So right around Gass, up towards the Avens community. So think around the Davis area, so Davis Elementary, all that area up in there. And it's going to move, and after that, it's going to move right down the mountain. So this is going to quickly move right down the mountain into Trenton. So if there's going to be a tornado, it's going to be moving right through Trenton if it does hold together. I mean, we don't have any reports of one on the ground, and I'm not seeing any debris signatures, thankfully. But again, you cannot rule out the possibility that one could quickly spin up. So those of you in Trenton, over towards Chickamauga, High Point, Boynton area, to the west side of Ringgold, Rock Spring, Mount Pisgah, Cooper Heights, Flintstone, the Battlefield, south side of Fort O. As I said, seek shelter. This is a possible tornado. You got a tornado warning until 6:45 down that way. Again, this is a very serious situation here. I cannot stress enough how important it is to find your place of safety in these areas. Again, Chattanooga Metro, southeastern Marion County, even southern Sequatchie County around Lone Oak, and through most of Hamilton County from Soddy southward through the city. Destructive severe storm, 70 to 80 mile an hour wind possible. Again, and also I cannot totally rule out the possibility of a quick spin up tornado. Again, take the warning seriously, and I'm reading a note that just came in from the National Weather Service in Morristown. We do not, they're saying here that we do, in quote, we do not see winds this high on our radar around here that often. So let me say, so I'll say, we do not often see winds this high on our radar out here. Please take the warning seriously. Severe storms can cause significant damage without a tornado. So even without a tornado, when you got winds running as high as this is, as we're seeing here, look at that, about an 85 showing up there just south of Lake Nickajack there, right just south of Loves and all that, moving northeast, and I'm hearing it myself out here. Thankfully, the worst, it looks like it's staying south of me, but the worst of the wind here is riding right along the state line. So moving into Whiteside as we speak, and then it's in a matter of minutes, this is going to be in Lookout Valley, and it's going to be going right into downtown Chattanooga. So if you are in that area and up towards Red Bank, east of Collegedale, towards Ooltewah, Appleton, down to Rossville, East Ridge, the whole metro here, get inside if you haven't. If you know somebody that's outside, tell them to get inside. Not playing around here. This is one of those storms that you don't need to be outside in. I mean, this is a very serious situation that continues to progress as it moves off to the east. And again, this is the type of storm that can really hurt people if you're caught out in it. I mean, especially if you have flying debris or anything, at least from the wind. I mean, you don't have, as the Weather Service said there, as I read off what they were saying there, it does not take a tornado to cause damage. Straight line wind damage like this can be just as significant. And remember, one thing to note about 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, that's the same speed as a Category 1 hurricane and also an EF0 to EF1 tornado. So I'm not saying it's like a line of those coming in, but to kind of put an analogy, I guess you can say, on it, that's about as close as it gets to really describing what's going on here across southeastern Marion into Hamilton County. Now, down south in Dade, Walker, Catoosa, you got a threat of a tornado down here. Not seeing evidence of a tornado on the ground down there at the moment, for those of you down in Trenton, but if there's a circulation, it's right over you. So make sure you're sheltered out there. If you have a basement, go there. If you don't have a basement, interior room on the lowest level. So again, those of you in anywhere in these areas, it doesn't matter if you're in the orange polygon, The red polygon, which would be a tornado warning in the red, orange severe thunderstorm warning, or in the destructive severe thunderstorm warning. You just got to take it seriously. Now, Stevenson, Bridgeport, South Pitt, I'm giving you guys the all clear. This is east of you now. You're good. And Jasper, give it about 5 more minutes in Jasper, and you'll be clear. Kimball, you're good. New Hope, you're good. Whitwell, this is going to stay south of you, so Whitwell Crossroads, well, actually just Whitwell for now. I would say from Crossroads and Suck Creek over towards Lone Oak, Soddy, and south, that's going to be the area of main concern. But if you're in Whitwell, points north and west, you are pretty much in the clear to the north and west. So really, you can draw a line from Highway 28, so Highway 28 right down here in the middle, and points west in the Squatchy Valley. So from west of Highway 28, the worst of this is over. This is moving to your east now. So the main danger zone in Marion's east of Highway 28. It's about to pull east of Griffith Highway here very soon. And then it's going to cross right into Hamilton County. And that's going to be a very serious situation here. So again, those of you around Tiftonia, Elder Mountain, Signal Mountain here now, this is moving in as we speak. Hickson, Red Bank, Falling Water, Lone Oak, Soddy, Lakeside, Harrison, Tyner, Hamilton Place, Collegedale, Ooltewah, Appleton, East Ridge, East Brainerd, heading your way. Damaging wind. Also, possible tornado. Trenton, east on top of Lookout, so West Brow, Hinkles, towards High Point, Cooper Heights, down into Chickamauga, Pond Spring, Rock Spring, Boynton, even the Ringgold area from Alabama Highway west. Make sure you're seeking shelter as this moves east, because there is the possibility of a quick spin-up. You do have the possibility of a quick spin-up tornado. And then down here to the south, down in northeast Alabama here, things are a little better down here. I mean, we're still getting some strong wind indication down in here, but at least as far as the severity, that's come down quite a bit, but still some very torrential rain, gusty winds, and lightning moving across Sand Mountain. But again, the main area right now, the main areas to watch, again, I've been looking at the velocities over Trenton here just to make sure there's not anything really spinning up, and I'll be honest, I'm not seeing any real indication of that at this point, so I think we can probably drop this tornado warning because I'm not seeing any more evidence of real circulation. This has really became more of a damaging straight line wind threat, which in other words, in a sense, again, this is basically the main threat as it is on the Tennessee side. And you can see how this line itself has really bowed out its structure right here. So you can really see that right in here. And it's right along that leading edge before you get in all that rain. And that really heavy rain stuff, it's right before that is where the wind really picks up. So the winds will precede the rain. So the wind will start picking up first before the winds will really get strong before this gets there. So again, if you're around downtown Chattanooga, I mean, we got a lot of people outside. That's the thing. Unfortunately, considering, I mean, big tourist attraction and everything else, all that stuff downtown, the aquarium and everything, got a lot of people outside here. So we need everybody to get inside. So if you're outside at Coolidge, if you're outside anywhere in Hamilton County or even northwest Georgia, I mean from Dade County east to Catoosa and Whitfield, it's best advised to get inside. Do not wait. Do not delay. This is a very serious situation here for the possibility of significant winds. Again, I'm also watching this also on my Facebook and YouTube and everything else. I'm reading some of the reports here, crazy in Richard City, and yes, this will be heading towards Ooltewah, Appleton, Rossville, and then all that stuff. And eventually, I want to give a heads up to Cleveland here. This is heading your way. So what I'm going to do here is, we haven't done this in a few minutes, I'm going to put a track on this. That way I give you folks in Cleveland a heads up. So again, there's Red Bank downtown basically now, about 6:20 within the next 10 minutes. Collegedale, Ooltewah area, 6:35. Cleveland downtown, 6:47. So right before 7 o'clock. So right around to just before 7 o'clock. So between roughly 6:30 and 7, this is when this is going to roll into Cleveland if it holds together. Ocoee, if it holds together, about 6:57. Charleston, Calhoun area, 6:58. And Benton and Polk County around 7:02. That's for this destructive severe storm. To the south here, let's put a track here, and we'll track this all the way out into Whitfield County. Again, this will be in Chickamauga here in about 10 minutes, around 6:22. Ringgold area, about 6:39. 6:44 for the Tunnel Hill area, and about 6:53 for the Dalton and Cohutta areas. So again, those are some quick tracks on that for you here. So the main areas of most significant severe weather concern are Hamilton County, especially central and south Hamilton, southeastern Marion, Dade, all of Walker, all of Catoosa, all of Whitfield. These are the areas currently experiencing severe weather. As this moves east, this is likely going to impact Cleveland. So if you're in Cleveland, heads up. As I said, I gave you a heads up earlier. Going to go ahead and give you it again. Polk County, same thing. Murray County, heads up. All of you, and I will say, it looks like from my vantage point here, this is probably going to miss Athens. So I think you're safe up in Athens. And also Decatur and Dayton, as well as Pikeville. This is staying to y'all south. Dunlap, you have nothing to worry about. This is staying well south of you. But again, there is an eastward component to motion here, and that's going to take this really intense line and spread out to the east here. So what I'm going to do also is, let me see if we can get some traffic cameras out here as well. We can also see some of this as this moves across the metro here. And this is a live view right now. This is from I-24 at Cummings Highway. This is from TDOT. This is what's ongoing. This is what you're going to run into if you're out there on the roads in the Chattanooga Metro. I mean, look at this. If you look closely, you see traffic come to a stall. If you look closely, you can see the trees really whipping in here. So there it is. I mean, very, very serious situation there. So let me show you a couple of others here. And it hasn't reached downtown yet, but it's about to here in a matter of minutes. Again, things haven't started over at Browns Ferry yet, but it's about to here in a matter of seconds. Again, there's about a few minute delay on some of these cameras, but here's another vantage point. This is heading, again, looking towards Chattanooga. They're looking towards downtown from Lookout Valley, and you can see northwest corner, you see the trees whipping. So that thing was really whipping there about a minute ago on the wind. And again, I said this is moving directly east. So just to show you some vantage points, because I know it will help with visualization if you see what's going on with some of these, at least from cameras. So that's what these little blue dots are. These are the traffic cameras. I can show some of these, so that way it helps give a visual perspective, at least in some way, of what maybe folks down the line can expect here. So as I'm saying, downtown Chattanooga, this is less than 5 minutes away. I mean, it's almost on your doorstep. And then out towards North Chat, so North Shore, Red Bank, Hickson, Signal, Falling Water, Marina Cove, out towards Chickamauga Lake, Harrison, Tyner, the airport, Brainerd, East Ridge, East Brainerd, Collegedale, Appleton, Hamilton Place Mall, Lee Highway, Shallowford Road. All these areas are in the path of this. And then down here to the south, looks like there's a small hook trying to develop here west of Chickamauga, so there could be some weak rotation there where this tornado warning is for the next 30 minutes. So seek shelter in Chickamauga. Make sure you're staying sheltered there, along and west of Highway 27, even east towards Alabama Highway in Catoosa County, including Boynton. So the west side of Ringgold here. Make sure you guys are in a good, safe place there. Now, Lafayette, this looks like the worst of this might miss you to the north. But again, as a course of least regret, just make sure you're inside in a good, safe place away from windows. And again, this is some very serious stuff here as this moves across the metro area. And here's the I-24 Browns Ferry Road, and there you go. So that's the wind-driven rain now moving across, and you can see. And I'll tell you, these are actually some heavyweight cameras here. So the fact that the wind, if you look closely, you can kind of see where the wind is rocking that thing around. So that tells you. And also some word of advice here, and I've seen this from watching YouTubers, and coverage and stuff of other severe weather around the country. I've been noticing some people do on the roads. Please don't park underneath a highway overpass. That's actually worse, because when you park underneath an overpass for any kind of high wind or anything like that, that actually the wind actually accelerates underneath those overpasses. So don't be like some people out there that I've seen in other states, that have been calling these cameras, hiding, going underneath overpasses. Please don't do that, because it stops traffic and it just creates nothing but chaos, and we don't want that. So if you're outside, if you're out driving around in the Chattanooga Metro, either pull over, just somewhere off the side of the road, or find the nearest exit. There's so many different exits you can take, and find some kind of nearby structure and just wait this out. And the good thing, it's not going to last long. It's no more than maybe 10-15 minutes, and it's out. One and done here with this. Now there will be more storms later this evening potentially, but I'm starting to think that this wave will really take most of the energy out of that later this evening wave. As I said, I'm not really sold on what's happening out towards West Tennessee here. Those look very weak. So the good news here is Marion County's been taken out of the warning. So if you're in Marion County, you're good. I know it's still storming heavily around Riverside up towards Prentice Cooper and Suck Creek, but the severe thunderstorm warning's been dropped for you. The, shall I say, destructive severe thunderstorm warning's been dropped to you. The destructive severe thunderstorm warning continues for Hamilton County. So from Soddy Daisy, Lakeside, Signal south, all the way down to the state line, that's the zone that has the severe weather at this time. At least the potential for those damaging winds here as this moves from west to east here across the area. So that's why I'm saying here, you got to really take this seriously. Here's another vantage point here, and look at this. This is 24 and 27 in downtown Chattanooga, and look at that. That right there is impressive. I'm zooming out so you can get at least a part of view of the storms here. So you can see right there, that's the vantage point. One thing I will say I'm encouraged to see is there's not a whole ton of motorists out there, so that's a good sign. There's some, but there's not a lot, so that means people are heeding warnings, so I'm pleased to see that. But yeah, that's the situation and what you're going to run into, whether it's in Catoosa County, Walker County, or Hamilton County here within the next half hour. That's what you're going to run into. Just a very serious thunderstorm. Let's show the winds here. And yeah, this is what you were just seeing on that camera. Again, 70 to 80 mile an hour wind potential for all of southern Hamilton County, moving right up the river, along and south of the river here, right up and down I-24. So downtown, this is on top of you now. This is heading out towards Highland Park, Orchard Park, Memorial, Erlanger, Missionary Ridge area, out towards East Ridge, Brainerd, Ridgeside, the airport, 153, Hamilton Place. This is all moving in as we speak. And again, there's that potential of that 70 to 80 mile an hour wind. Now, on the North Georgia side, not as high, but there could still be some 60 to 70 in here. Moving across Flintstone now and Rock City, moving into Fairview, Chickamauga, Blue Spring, Burning Bush, the Battlefield, Fort O, Rossville, Lake Winnie. If you know anybody outside Lake Winnie, get inside. They need to get inside something. Get inside a building or whatever it may be, just to seek shelter. And it's also going to go upward towards Cloud Springs Road, so around Costco and all that out here. That's going to be next in line, down towards Battlefield Parkway into Ringgold. So again, 60 to 70 mile an hour wind potential in North Georgia, 70 to 80 for downtown Chattanooga and southern Hamilton County, tracking right down the interstate and the river. So this along and south of the Tennessee River is going to be the main area. So you can draw a line from the North Shore, Elder Mountain, and to about Harrison and south. That's going to be the worst of this in Hamilton County, in the city of Chattanooga. Again, we're still seeing some indications in here. Again, remember, this is about 3,000 feet off the ground, so it's probably 70 to 80 at the surface there. Showing an 86, as I said, at the surface is probably 70 to 80. And that extends all the way out to the ridge cut now. So it's now moving across the ridge and the ridge cut and getting ready to move right into East Ridge. So again, there's another vantage point from the ridge cut right there. As you see their position at camera, you can see the sideways rain and all that. Again, if you got any kind of like photos or videos also to share, you can post that in my group, which is the Chase Bryant's weather group. You can put that in there as well if you got any other photos or video or anything like that of this whole situation. So again, this is a very serious situation here moving across the metro here, especially the south, basically from downtown south and down towards Chickamauga. Now, we still got this tornado warning technically for Walker and Catoosa, but looking at this, I really don't see a threat of a tornado with this. I mean, I know it looks got a little bit of a hook there, but I've been looking at the velocities there, and I just don't see a threat of a tornado down here. I mean, now that could obviously change, in a few minutes or when it may be, but I don't think we have a threat of a tornado down here around Chickamauga or areas down towards Ringgold or Alabama Highway or Boynton. I think now stay sheltered down here, especially for the wind, but I don't think we have as much of a concern for a tornado down there at this time. Now, DeKalb County, Alabama, you got strong storms in your area, but they are non-severe down there, so you don't have a warning down that way, but you also have strong storms in your area down there around Fort Payne and Rainsville, up towards Hammondville. Now, here is what I could find here. Again, these are destructive storms for the city of Chattanooga, fresh off the NWS wire here. Again, as we're looking at some other various points here, some other various camera points, and here's Moore Road at I-24. There's another example of what's going on. And so I'm kind of putting these on a little bit on rotation here as far as like rotating the different camera sites around, so that way you can see some visuals here as we're going through the county here. And again, now the good thing up to the north is I do think if you're up towards a Soddy Daisy, the worst of this is going to be south of you. So I really don't think you have to worry about this up here around Soddy Daisy or Lakeside or Falling Water. I think the worst of this is trending south of you. So as I said, it's really from the river and south, with Hickson and Red Bank here being on the far northern end. So at least as far as the wind is concerned. Now, don't get me wrong, it's going to pour down rain, and the wind may get a little gusty, but as far as the most severe part of this, it's really going to be from about the river and south all the way down into North Georgia, into Walker and Catoosa counties. And eventually, with time, this is going to be an issue for Whitfield County and also Cleveland. If you're in Cleveland, and I got several of you follow me out here, if you're in Cleveland, this is your heads up. This is going to be in your neighborhood here within about the next 20 minutes or so. This is moving quickly. So, in fact, it's already approaching Highway 153 already. At least this front edge of it is. So, here's 153. There's Highway 58. There's the river. Here's I-75. Hamilton Place sits about right down here in the southeast corner of the screen, just west of where it says Valley View Subdivision right there. That's where the wind is heading towards as we speak, moving into right now. And again, this is the zone where I'm watching for the possibility of that very high wind. And again, there's another vantage point. This is the 75-24 split right at Eastgate and East Ridge there. Again, torrential, blinding rains, and there's that wind. And I'm sure, once we get this out of here, I'm sure the power outage numbers are probably going to be pretty high based on what we've been seeing here, at least on velocity and the wind and such. So speaking of velocity, let's update that. Still showing some 70 to 80, showing up around the East Lake area and moving up and over the ridge into East Ridge, right down Ringgold Road. So some of the heaviest areas that are in line right now, so Belvoir, Moore, McBrien, out towards Spring Creek, Park Ridge East, Camp Jordan, moving into Camp Jordan right now. Brainerd Park, so Eastgate. There's Brainerd Hills, so that's East Brainerd Road right there. There's Gun Barrel, Erlanger East, the Walmart, Fresh Market, all that out there on Gun Barrel. There's the mall right there, so it's approaching Hamilton Place as we speak. Here's Shallowford right here. So that's there's Shepherd that takes you down to the airport. And there's Lee Highway right there that takes you up to McKay's. So this is heading right towards McKay's and Bonnie Oaks. And then heading towards Holly Hills. So this is going into the areas that were hit by that tornado 6 years ago. Thankfully, this is not the same situation here. This is a straight line wind situation. But again, there could be some trees that get knocked down. So be aware out here and be aware of the potential for tree damage here in southern Hamilton County. And eventually that's going to head up into Summit, Ooltewah, Collegedale, and then Appleton here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Also Harrison as well, as this is heading right up Highway 58. So heading right up the river here. So as we pan out here are all your warnings. So in a nutshell, here's your warnings. We got a new one that was just issued for parts of Murray County that now goes into Murray County and also includes the rest of Whitfield County. and that warning will go in effect until 7 o'clock Eastern. So there's the situation there. So here's what we got. So severe thunderstorm warnings right now are in effect for Dade, Walker, Catoosa, Whitfield, and Murray counties. Pretty much almost all of you watching me in North Georgia. A destructive severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until the next 20 minutes for Hamilton County. But I believe this, at least the severe thunderstorm warning itself, will be extended into Bradley and Polk. So I'd imagine with the next warning update, you're probably going to see a broad-faced severe thunderstorm warning polygon that extends probably all the way into Polk County. At least it'll go through Bradley, but they may put it into Polk too because of how fast this is moving. Again, this is moving east at about 55 miles an hour. So it's going to be like that, in and out. But boy, those 10 minutes or so are going to be rough. So here's one other vantage point. Let me get some other. And there's Highway 153 at Jersey right there, for example, just to show you some more visuals. These are what's going on there. Heavy rain, heavy wind. And then here's some around Hamilton Place. I'll show you what that looks like. Again, wind starting to pick up there. And there's a really good view right there. Oh, wow, this is I-75 at Franks. And I think we might have lost that camera. It looks like right there, it appears. So either that or it may have not have loaded. Hold on a second. Let me reload my radar here. I got to reload my radar here real fast. It froze on me there for a second. But you kind of saw right there how that rain was really blowing around right there. There it goes, right there. You can see, there it is, right there. You see how the trees are really blowing in that. So that's I-75 at Franks Road. So that's right there by the mall. So that's right there halfway between East Brainerd Road and the mall. So right there, you can just see how hard that wind is whipping. Really going right there. Unbelievable. I mean, what an incredible shot that is right there as you see those trees. And notice the traffic's still going along. Don't know how they're doing it. But, yeah. That's where that heaviest wind is. And as I said here, still showing. I mean, when you look at this color table here, as I kind of have this in a bit of a double box here, I guess if you want to call it that. Up in here, the scale, once you get up in here, that's the 70 to 80, and we're still seeing that right here. Moving right up I-75 into the East Brainerd area. And this is going to be in Ooltewah, Collegedale, and Appleton here in a matter of no more than a couple minutes. I mean, it is quickly advancing east. And again, Bradley County, you're probably going to get a warning here very soon, a severe thunderstorm warning. And then down in North Georgia, it looks more like I'd say 60 to 70 up around Fordo, up towards Cloud Springs Road, and around Lake Winnie points east to Indian Springs, north of Ringgold and north. But again, still very intense. And then 50 to 60, I would say, from Lafayette up to Rock Spring. Now, Bradley County, you do now have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So that's a step down from destructive. But again, 60 to 70 mile an hour wind is nothing to play around with, especially what you see here on the left. What you see on the left here at Hamilton Place there, that is what's heading your way. Simply put. So let me put on reflectivity, and I will read this warning out to you there. And it said, I mean, that's just an incredible shot right there. I'm going to keep that up there for a little bit while also putting radar on there as well, so you can see that on the right part of your screen. So again, there's your new warning, and I will let me move that so I can draw it. I'm going to put that draw map right there so that way I can draw out the new warning. So let me move this around just a little, and there we go. So this right here is your new warning, that new brown polygon you see right there that indicates a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So I just highlighted it there for you on the right. So let me read you some of the newest information that's moving to the east here. Let's see here. I think I'll just have to read it to you on here. I'm just going to have to because it's not working on my end. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Bradley, Western Polk, South Central McMinn, and Southeastern Hamilton counties until 7:15. At 6:28, a severe thunderstorm was located near Harrison, or 7 miles east of Chattanooga, moving east at 50 miles an hour. Hazard is 70 mile an hour wind gusts. It is radar indicated. Locations in the path of this include Cleveland, Benton, Charleston, South Cleveland, East Cleveland, Wildwood Lake, Collegedale, Calhoun, Waterville, and Conestoga. So this does include western Polk County. And this also includes Interstate 75 in Tennessee between mile markers 14 and 33. Remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. So again, even though there's no official tornado warning, treat these winds like they are severe thunderstorm, like they are tornadic wind. I think that's the best thing you can do in this instance is treat these severe thunderstorm winds like they are tornado winds. So if you're in Cleveland, that's why I'm suggesting you to seek shelter, just like Hamilton County, like in Catoosa and others that have had to, because you just can't play around with this kind of stuff. So let me put a track on that that's moving east at about 55 miles an hour, and we'll get you that heads up. So Cleveland, this will be in your neighborhood around 6:48. Delano about 7:09. Etowah, if it gets that far north in McMinn County, around 7:13. I don't think this is going to affect Athens. I'm still sold on this not really getting up into Athens. It's going to be a little close on the north end, but I think the worst of this stays south of there. But oh goodness, look at that to the left. But right here, let's put on some other communities. So Harrison, right now, it's hitting Harrison basically right now. McDonald, 6:42. Tasso, 6:54. Benton, 7:02. Claxton, 7:06. That's from this. And you can see right there, that's at the corner of your screen. That's what you're seeing here. And oh my. Wow. As said, wow. Very, very nasty storm there. Nothing else to say. This also, let's track this to the south here. Track this other severe storm in North Georgia. So that way we're making sure everybody gets involved as you look at what's happening to the left on your screen. Again, Tunnel Hill, about 6:45. So Dalton, you're probably looking at about 6:50 or so there. 7:09 for Eton and Chatsworth on that. So that's for that southern severe storm. Now, Lafayette down towards DeKalb County, Alabama, I'm not as much concerned about you guys. I think the worst of this is going to pass to your east. So, again, here's your new severe thunderstorm warning out in this brown polygon. That means it's a considerable tagged severe thunderstorm warning for what you see on the left here. And there's the radar image of that as well. So there's your radar, and I wish I could shorten this screen just a little bit. It won't let me do that, but this is about as best I can get it. But again, if you're in Marion County, if you're in Jackson, if you're in DeKalb, so really the Squatchy Valley and even downtown Chattanooga and west, you are clear, at least from this complex. So from this complex of storms, severe storms, you're clear. So I want to make that point with you. The main danger zone is to the east. And also that tornado warning that was in effect for Walker and Catoosa has expired. So you don't, as I said, I don't see any evidence of a tornado there. I do see evidence of strong winds, though, for Catoosa County and Whitfield. So heads up around there, and also Murray County. But again, what you see here is what's moving into Bradley County here within a matter of minutes here as it moves right up White Oak Mountain, right up US 11 there, into the McDonald area and points from there. So, and I'll tell you what, the rain, they're on the backside of the rain here, and that wind is still going out there. So that's very impressive there. And this is located again, I-75 at Franks Road, which is right by Hamilton Place Mall, in case those of you are wondering where that is. Things are about to start going downhill in Ottawa here very soon. Again, but as I said, this right here is what is most impressive right here of all. So there's the situation. Again, right now the current time is 6:34 p.m. Eastern, 5:34 p.m. Central Time. I'm Chase here tracking these very significant severe storms producing widespread damaging winds across the Chattanooga Metro, extending down into Catoosa County. And these are all moving east into Bradley and Whitfield counties as we speak. So it's zipping along here very fast at about 50 to 55 miles an hour. So if you are in areas like Bradley County and also Polk County, you need to be on alert. So Benton, Old Fort, Ballplay, Ocoee, down around the Ocoee River and all that, even as far northeast as Etowah and Delano. I want to give y'all a heads up here. So heads up in Etowah, heads up in Charleston and Calhoun. Riceville and Athens, I don't think you have to worry about this, but it's going to be close enough to where, and looks like they're having a connection issue, and we lost the camera. So that tells me right there of the power outages, and just based on that wind that you saw there, some very incredible stuff that we just witnessed there come across the metro there. So there's Ottawa, and it's moving right over that area as we speak. So again, this is moving right up I-75 and also Highway 11, and can also cross Highway 60 through here. So again, if you are anywhere from Harrison, Ottawa, Collegedale east through Appleton, McDonald, Cleveland area, out towards Benton, Ocoee, Charleston, Calhoun, even as far east as Delano, definitely get inside, get away from windows, and wait this out. Also, down to the south here on the North Georgia side, Lafayette, you got some heavy thunderstorms, some gusty winds, but I don't see anything to worry about there, at least on the severe end of things. In fact, this line down in here on the Georgia side is really weakened. But Ringgold, south and east, into Tunnel Hill and Dalton, make sure that you are in a good, safe place here, at least away from windows until this passes here. So I'm going to turn these traffic cameras off here temporarily so I can show this current view here. But yeah, that's the situation going on in Hamilton County, at least in the southeast part of the county. So if you're west of Highway 153 and really west of Gun Barrel Road, you are in the clear. So downtown up towards Red Bank, Signal, Saudi, especially west of 27, you are good. So this is all passing to your east now. You don't have to worry about this storm anymore. But again, if you're east of all this, if you're east of there, again, around the Hopewell area, points south from Charleston to Hopewell south, even Georgetown. Georgetown's going to be on the north end of this, so heads up in Georgetown, heading your way. So Snow Hill, Ottawa, Collegedale, Appleton, points east, up to Hopewell, Charleston, Calhoun, through the city of Cleveland, so the entire city of Cleveland here, into Ocoee and Benton, also Old Fort, Baldplay, Conasauga, Gap Spring, Flint Springs, I should say. Yeah, Gap Spring as well. Coalhola Ranch, Sugar Grove, Park Store, Blue Springs, McDonald, Twin Oaks, all these areas up there right around the airport there at Tasso. That's the jet port up there in Cleveland there. These are the areas that are right now under the gun for damaging wind here, and as I say, it could be very significant. So that's why I'm saying you gotta be in your safe spot up in here, at least from the wind, because that stuff is very serious business. And as I said, the good thing, at least as far as movement and speed, it's an in and out thing. It's not going to stall. It's not going to sit around. But those 10, 15 minutes or so are going to be very rough for wherever this occurs. So you can see what's going on as this progresses from west to east. Again, as I said, this new severe thunderstorm warning that was recently issued goes in effect for about the next 35 minutes or so. So this goes in effect, let me put a reminder on that, until 7:15. So until 7:15, that's a severe thunderstorm warning for far eastern Hamilton County. So from Appleton, Ottawa, Snow Hill, and east, through all of Bradley County, including Cleveland, the western half of Polk County, including Benton and Ocoee, and up into southern McMinn County, including Calhoun. Not quite Etowah, but it's getting close. So make sure that you guys are alerted to this as well. You'll be on the north end of it. But let's be honest, just don't take chances, because this is heading east and heading in your direction here over the next little bit. So I'm also posting this quick morning update also. As I said, I'm multitasking different things here as well, so that way, and try and remain balanced so I can get you some whatever reports that we may have. So let's see if we got any kind of storm reports here, and yes, we do. A report of a wall cloud, that was earlier. Okay, I don't know why that popped up on there, but okay. But let me see if this is a new report right here. There was trees reported down earlier on Campbell Street, and here's another report right here. Thunderstorm wind damage, tree down on power line on County Road 493. And there we go. So, all right, we got a tornado warning now in Dalton, I see. So we now have a tornado warning. So we got to focus back on these tornado warnings again. So unfortunately, we got yet another tornado warning that's popped up again. This little area that didn't look concerning is now all of a sudden it's starting to spin up again. So here we go. Trickham, Rocky Face, Mount Vernon, into Dalton and Chatsworth. Get in your tornado safe place. You have a tornado warning in effect until 7:30 p.m. So this includes southeastern Catoosa County. So this does not include Ringgold. If you're in Ringgold, you're good. This is south of Ringgold. So this includes central Whitfield County, central Murray County, western Gilmer County, and southeastern Catoosa County. And this is the tornado warning that goes in effect through the next hour. So this goes in effect until 7:30. At 6:39, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Wood Station, or 8 miles west of Dalton, moving east at 35 miles an hour. It's hazard to tornado. It's radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Dalton, Chatsworth, Varnell, Eton, Tunnel Hill, Crandall, Tales Creek, Sumac, Ramhurst, Wood Station, Rocky Face, Conasauga Lake, Mill Creek, Dawnville, and Fort Mountain. So those of you in those communities I just called out, here is your warning to seek shelter. So let's put a track on this, and we'll move that to the east at the speed that was set at 35. And this will be in downtown Dalton around 6:52. West side will be a little sooner than that, by about 5 minutes. About 7:10 for Chatsworth and about 7:11 for Eton. Those are the locations that are in the path of this potential tornado here across southeastern Catoosa, even though I think the circulation's out of Catoosa, so we can X Catoosa out of this. So Catoosa, from a tornado, you're good. But for Whitfield and Murray counties, tornado warning until 7:30. So until 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, that's your tornado warning. So if things continue to go as planned, we will finally be out of the woods from this wave altogether. This will be out of the entire area altogether within about an hour. So hopefully this won't go on too long. But again, at the same time, you got to be ready for. And again, I'll reintroduce the warning color keys here. Dark brown you see in Bradley County in the Polk and southern McMinn County, that's the considerable severe thunderstorm warning for 60 to 70 mile an hour wind. The orange/yellow polygon you see here, that's the regular severe thunderstorm warning for gusts up to 60 miles an hour. And this red polygon you see here for Dalton over to Chatsworth and Whitfield and Murray counties, that's the tornado warning that runs in effect here through 7:30. So just a little quick color key there as to who is, what color is what and all that. So that way no one gets confused there on what color is which, because again there's a lot of different colors that are used here. And also this blue, real quick, that blue you see out to the west around Sand Mountain in northeast Alabama, that's just what's called a special weather statement. So this destructive severe storm in purple you see up in Hamilton County expires in 2 minutes, so it's pretty much expiring as we speak. So the new warning to the east will take over, and that will take over for Bradley County. So those of you in Bradley County, make sure that you are in a good, safe place here, at least away from windows and outside walls until this storm passes. Again, if you hear anything like that, or if you hear the roar or anything like that, don't wait till it. But if you do hear anything, just make sure you go inside and find the safest part of your house. Again, that'd be a basement, lowest floor, near the center of your home, away from windows and outside walls. Again, no mobile homes, no vehicles. That goes for all areas of Whitfield County and Murray County, Georgia here. Again, no mobile homes, no vehicles in those areas. You got to find more substantial shelter. Even in a quick spin-up situation, you just can't take that chance. That's why I'm emphasizing here that you just cannot be in a mobile home in this kind of situation here. So again, Dalton, Chatsworth, Eton, tornado safe place, as well as Tunnel Hill, Rocky Face, and even Varnell. I know Varnell, you're on the northern end of this, but Varnell, you're close enough to where I would just, as a course of least regret, just seek shelter, especially considering you're on the northern end of the polygon. But if you're in Ringgold, you're good. So Ringgold, Fort O, you're fine. This is not for you. Graysville, this is not for you. Boynton, not for you. This is going to be mainly a Whitfield and Murray County deal, as well as a Gilmer County deal as it moves out of the area here after it crosses Fort Mountain. So the good thing here is it won't be hanging around for too long because of how fast it's moving. That's why that warning is extended as far east as it does, is because it's moving so fast. So that's why we have these warnings that go in effect, but also at the same time, they're expanded a pretty good far ways. So down here to the south, we have another special weather statement for parts of Chattooga, southern Walker, northwestern Gordon County, and also southern Whitfield County. That's not in any of these warnings. That's for this strong storm that's coming out of DeKalb County, Alabama, moving through southern Walker County, but that one's non-severe. But again, the main severe stuff is right up in here, as you see, moving across Bradley into Whitfield counties. Some of it's still impacting areas along Ottawa Georgetown Road and Highway 58 and around the Snow Hill area, as well as a Mahan Gap Road there in eastern Hamilton County near the Bradley County line. But as far as the most severe part of the storm is concerned, that is moving into Cleveland pretty much right now. And also this possible tornado here you see over Mount Vernon heading towards Dalton. Now, I will say the signature here is not as impressive as it was when it was first issued. I mean, I'm not really seeing a very strong tornadic signature. I mean, this is actually very similar to the tornado warning that was in this same area back on March 15th, the night of that night, when we had a linear situation somewhat similar to this come through. And in this very similar spot, there was a little bit of weak rotation that formed aloft, and it was enough to prompt a tornado warning because it did tighten up enough. And then within about 10 minutes, it really weakened. So hopefully that'll be the case with this. Hopefully. That's the hope here. But at the same time, let's not get too comfortable with it. Just go to your safe place here around Dalton and Chatsworth and just take your tornado precautions until this passes. So let's check and see if we got any kind of tornado debris. Thankfully, we don't, so that's good. So we're doing pretty good there. There's the Chatsworth area as well as Eton. So Eton, seek shelter. Fort Mountain area also seek shelter. And there's the Dalton Airport. So Keefs Mill, Cedar Ridge, Donville, Waring, Cedar Valley, Norton, Rule Vale, Plainview. There's Tunnel Hill, Trickham, Mount Vernon, Rocky Face, Mill Creek, Hamilton Medical Center, Dalton High School. All these areas are in the path of a possible quick spin-up tornado. Now, it's not a very impressive signature, but it's something we have to watch. Now, Cleveland up in here in Bradley County, again, very strong severe storm, very potent one. Thankfully, we're no longer seeing the 70 to 80 that we were seeing earlier, and in fact, this warning has actually been downgraded to a regular severe thunderstorm warning for 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. So as this is moving east, it does appear that this part of the lineup here is slowly weakening. So that's some good news there as this moves through the Cleveland area. But it's still going to be strong with winds up to 60 miles an hour. So be ready for that if it hasn't arrived there yet. This also includes areas out towards Ocoee, Old Fort, Ballplay, Conasauga, up into Benton, Tasso, Charleston, Claxton area. This is all moving east in your direction. As I said, Athens, Decatur, Dayton, this is well south of you. You don't have to worry about this storm. But Benton, keep an eye on it. Delano, Benton be aware, but Delano and Etowah, keep a close eye on this. And now, this is going to be southern McMinn County you see right here. This right here is Bradley. This here is Polk, and that's where this is going. The tornado here, the possible tornado, is right in this zone here, moving across I-75, so right around the Dalton bypass. And here is Walnut Avenue right here to the south that runs across the city here. Here's downtown, and here's some of the other streets. So you got Dalton High School, so that's Waugh Street, Glenwood Avenue, Fortin Avenue, Tyler Street, the Historical Museum, Underwood Street, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and then there's Walnut Square Mall down here. So it's going to pass pretty close to Walnut Square Mall. There's Riverbend Road. Again, this is Dalton, Georgia. Abilment Road, Dixie Road, Doug Gap Road. Here's where all the businesses and restaurants out there are at Walnut Avenue and I-75 in Dalton. Dalton State College, Tibbs Road. So that takes you out there by the Walmart and the Academy and all that out there. And there's also Tibbs Road. That's Shugart Road. There's the Hamilton Medical Center, Chattanooga Road, Willowdale Road. And that's also Hague Mill Road. And then right up here, that's Cleveland Highway right there, Highway 71. That takes you up towards Cleveland. And that's Waring Road right there, Beaverdale, Williams Road, Cedar Valley, the Dalton Quarry. All these areas are currently in line for a possible quick spin-up tornado. Main threat's damaging wind, but you could have a very quick spin-up here in a matter of minutes here if one were to form. So again, one could form at any time. The signature is not very impressive here, at least on the velocity scan, but it's still strong enough to where it has to be monitored. And then up here, just to check on you folks up in Cleveland here real fast, here's some of the heaviest wind now moving across the city as we speak. So there's Keefe Street right in here. There's Inman, so that's Inman Street right down in here. That's Keefe right in there. There's Lee University, so downtown. There's the APD 40, that's the bypass right there. That goes around town. And then that turns up, of course, into 25th Street as you get up here on the north side of Cleveland. But so you got all the restaurants and businesses and all that up in here. So this is going to be rolling up towards Paul Huff Parkway. So Bradley Square Mall's in the path of this. So this line of damaging wind and heavy rain is moving in. So it's going to pass pretty close to the Jetport. So where it says Tasso right there, that's where the Jetport is. They're on the northeast side of Cleveland. So that's where it's going to be heading next there along Michigan Avenue Road and Stewart Road. Some of the other areas include Benton Pike as you head out towards Benton. So again, Benton will be next in line over there in Polk County, and then Ocoee as well. And again, this is about 5 minutes away from reaching Ocoee in the US 411 corridor here. So heads up around there. Again, up to the north here real fast, McMinnville, Spencer, Dayton, Dunlap, Pikeville. This is just rain up in here. Just some rain, light to moderate rain, a little bit of thunder, nothing big. Here's our next wave we got to watch. Here it is. As I said, it's not looking all that impressive, and hopefully this line, I'm hoping that this line has taken a whole chunk of the energy out, so that way this line isn't as severe. I'm going to be real with you, though. I mean, I think the last thing we need to see is more thunderstorms at this point, but we got one more wave, and the good news is this is going to be the last one. You see this out here to the west? This is going to be the last one. That's going to roll through here in a few hours. So, as I said, once we get closer to the midnight, we will be finally done with this. So we just got one more wave after this, and that'll be it. Hopefully this last wave here, this last wave to the west will come through smoothly without any issues. I'm hoping and praying that, especially after what we've been seeing here across the metro and Jackson County, Marion, and northwest Georgia here. So, again, Dalton, stay sheltered. Stay sheltered. Dawnville, Keefe's Mill, Eaton, Chatsworth, Murray County. Stay sheltered there as well. Your tornado warning remains in effect until 7:30. You got about 30 more minutes. Now it'll be out of Dalton before that. So here, probably in about 20 minutes or so, I'll be able to give you an all clear there. But right now, stay sheltered in Dalton. And Tunnel Hill, Rocky Face stays sheltered for about 5 more minutes. But if you're in Tunnel Hill, I'm going to go ahead and say it's safe because the next radar scan is going to show this a little bit east. So Tunnel Hill, I'm giving you the all clear. Rocky Face, give it about 5 more minutes. Give it till 7 o'clock, and you'll be good. And Dalton, I'd say give it till about 7:10, and then you'll be good. So give it about another 15 to 17 minutes there in the city of Dalton, and then you'll be good. And in Chatsworth, probably closer to warning expiration time. So probably closer to the warning expiration time of 7:30, and you'll be good. As well as Eaton and up towards Crandall. So, and actually, I don't think Crandall is even in this, but still, yeah, Crandall is in this. So, Cohutta Springs, so the Cohutta Wildlife Management Area is also in line now. This does not include Gregory or Cisco or the Tenga community, but it does include Sumac. It includes Crandall. It goes all the way down into Eaton and Chatsworth and west into the city of Dalton. So, those are the areas that are currently in the line for a possible tornado. And then once you get up here across Bradley County, this is strictly straight line wind. And thankfully, I will say this, there are signs that this is weakening somewhat. The wind is still very strong, but at least as far as the reflectivity, I think there are signs that this is slowly starting to lose at least some of its grip a little bit. So that's a good sign. Hopefully that trend will continue here as we go forward, as this moves into Ocoee and Benton and Charleston, Calhoun here on the Tennessee side, and from Bradley into Polk County, but stay alert in those areas. Also, not to forget about Chattooga County. You don't have any severe weather, but you got some strong storms moving in from Walker, moving down towards Trine, Somerville, and Menlo, and eventually that'll probably catch Calhoun and Resaca down in Gordon County here eventually, so heads up there. But the worst of the severe weather is going to stay to your north, the way I'm seeing things at this time. And looking at the latest velocity here, I really don't see any evidence of a tornado here, at least in the Dalton area. I mean, as I showed on that last velocity scan, it just does not look impressive to me. It's more of a wind signature, and I think this warning may get canceled early, just based off my observation. I mean, just based off that. I mean, stay sheltered in Dalton here and just hang on tight for at least a few minutes, but as well as Chatsworth. But I'm feeling better about this being weaker on a tornadic scale and to the point because when you look at velocities here, there's just nothing there. I mean, you got some bright red and some pink and stuff in there that indicates the strong straight line wind as opposed to tornadic wind, but as far as a tornado is concerned, I just don't see it. And just stay sheltered there until this warning expires, as a course of least regret, just out of precaution, and just wait it out. And I'll put a quick updated time path for you folks out in Eton and Chatsworth. This will be in Chatsworth around 7:12 and around 7:13 for Eton. So that's a little bit of an estimated time of arrival for you guys. And then Benton, give y'all a quick little Benton and Reliance, and I'll even put Delano in here as well. Estimated time of arrival for you guys. Benton around 7:02, about 7:12 in Delano, and Reliance about 7:13. And in this right here is northeast here also. So Claxton about 7:11. So right around 7 to 7:05 for the Charleston Calhoun area on the Tennessee side here. 7:16 for Delano. And Etowah, the city of Etowah, there around 7:19. As I said, this is going to miss Athens. So if you're in Athens, you don't have anything to worry about with this. Riceville, same thing. Nyota, even over in Monroe County, I don't think you really have much to worry about there other than maybe Tellico Plains. But at this point, the worst of all this is going to stay just to your south. And again, the only area that has a tornado warning at the moment, though, is the one that's moving from Whitfield into Murray County. However, I just don't see a lot of evidence of any major tornadic rotation at this point. I mean, could that change in a couple minutes? As always, it can. But right now, I just don't see it. This is mainly a wind signature, and I think this warning is probably going to get canceled early because of that. And then we got some noisy storms around Lafayette extending down towards the Menlo area there of Chattooga County. But again, that's non-severe. That's just a heavy storm, lightning, gusty wind. Checking on you guys up here to the north again real quick because I know I may be getting some questions about some other areas up here like McMinnville or Dunlap or Spencer. You got nothing to worry about up here. You just got some good old-fashioned rain with some maybe a little bit of thunder and lightning mixed in occasionally, but this up in here is just rain. Nothing of concern there. Again, the main severe areas are Bradley County, southern McMinn County, Polk, down through Murray and Whitfield. Those are the areas that currently are in the severe weather zone at this time. And then out here to the west, here's the other thunderstorms back with the main low pressure area that are moving from West Tennessee in the middle and North Tennessee and Northwest Alabama right now. And these are heading our way. Unfortunately, they have been trying to intensify a little the last few scans, so I really hope this is not trying to form in anything, but hopefully it will stay below severe levels here. I'm hoping as this moves east into this rain-cooled air. Again, no promises here. I mean, I was hoping that the earlier storms that came in about lunchtime would, maybe temper things for later this afternoon and evening, and unfortunately, it really didn't. In fact, it set out a boundary right on top of us. I mean, it put the boundary right over the tri-state border very much. So, and that's what's caused all these severe storms and this, I won't say an outbreak, but this is what's caused this bow echo to really strengthen the way it did. Now, I don't know for sure if this is going to get classified as what's called a derecho yet. We will not know for a while. I mean, it's a possibility that this, considering there's been some consistency, at least on velocity, there's a possibility that this could get classified as a derecho, especially if it's a certain distance. But if it's not like 100-mile or something, then it won't get classified as that. But I think this is pretty close to one. I mean, from what I've seen. Definitely one of the strongest wind events we've had in the Chattanooga metro area in quite some time. From just based on everything from reports, visuals like you saw on those TDOT cameras earlier when I was showing those. This is definitely one of those situations that is going to be a lot of tree damage and a lot of stuff here. So I'm just going to watch that. So we still got this one tornado warning for Murray and Whitfield, and I know Catoosa's still kind of in it there on that southeast end, but I said, Catoosa, you're good. I think Catoosa can be taken out of this, but Whitfield and Murray, central part of those counties, from Dalton to Chatsworth and Eton. Even though I'm not seeing any evidence of a tornado there, I just play it safe and just stay sheltered for at least another 10, 20 minutes and just wait this out, until this passes. But again, down here to the south, nothing really big there. Let me check and make sure this storm west of Trine doesn't have any kind of, it's got a little bit of a suspicious little notch there. Let's see if that's got any rotation real quick. Very weak, just a gusty signature there, so that's good. So that's just gusty wind down that way. But up here, let me check on this Bradley and the Polk, query some of the wind. Yeah, still seeing some gusts up to 60 here, probably more like 50 to 60 up in here. Still enough considering the ground is quite wet here from previous rounds of rain, where you could get some trees to come down and possibly even some power outages as well. So here's a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued. This goes all the way out to Blue Ridge and Ellijay, and even goes down into parts of Gordon County and areas just south of Lafayette and Walker County. Let me read that new information that's come out here. This is the new severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45. This is for Gilmer County, Murray County, southeastern Whitfield County, southeastern Walker, northern Gordon, and Fannin County is in North Georgia until 7:45. At 7:01, severe thunderstorms located along the line extending from near Tinga to near Tilton to near Naomi. It's moving east at 45 miles an hour. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. It's radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of these severe storms include Dalton, Calhoun, Chatsworth, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, Eton, Resaca, Morganton, Ranger, Crandall, Jones Mill, Jones Creek, Cohutta Wilderness, Pisgah in Georgia, not Alabama, Mineral Bluff, Villanelle, Cherry Log, Hemp, and Tails Creek. So those are the locations in the path of that severe storm. Again, that covers all the way out past Blue Ridge and Ellijay, almost to Blairsville. So that just tells you the confidence that the NWS down in Peachtree City, Atlanta has, and this holding together all the way at that far east, and also because of how fast it's moving at 45 to 50. So it's going to cover a lot of territory within that hour. Just like this one up here has covered quite a bit of territory over the past hour here, and it's caused that destructive severe thunderstorm warning for the Chattanooga Metro there earlier. So yeah, this is the same one. Again, this is the same complex that caused that destructive severe thunderstorm warning to be issued for the Chattanooga Metro all the way into Marion County earlier. But thankfully, that has since expired because the storms have moved out of there from this wave. And the reason why I can't give a total all clear from the threat of severe weather just yet, I mean, I can give all clear from this line of storms here. The reason why I can't give it all together yet from the whole threat altogether is because we still got these back here that still got to rotate in. So as far as moving in, I should say, is concerned, moving in. Should have used a better word there, but moving is the right word here for this last wave. And this is going to be with that main low pressure center out towards West Tennessee. So those will move our way over the next few hours, and that could kick off some more thunderstorms. And one or two ago, hopefully the severe, if there is anything severe that does develop out of this, it should be more isolated. But again, the same threats would remain. The strong wind gusts, torrential rain, lightning, very low chance of a spin-up tornado. So that's something to keep in mind. And there you go. So, I mean, the new warning update on this tornado warning from Whitfield into Murray takes out at least downtown Dalton from the tornado warning. So I will go ahead and say if you're in downtown Dalton out west towards I-75 points west, you're clear from this storm, from this one thunderstorm that's producing the severe weather. This is now pretty much strictly a Dawnville points east into Murray County storm. So this is going to impact Eton and Chatsworth here in a matter of minutes. Now, as I said, I don't see really any real evidence of a tornado in here, so I'm very surprised this warning's still up because it's I don't see any kind of evidence, but I will double check to see. That kind of looks like a debris signature there around Dawnville, but I'm looking to see if that matches velocity and reflectivity, and it doesn't. That actually matches a hail core, so that may actually be some small hail, maybe some pea-sized hail there over Dawnville, and that went away right there just as I looked at it. So there was probably a little signature there, maybe a little bit of some pea-sized hail, but thankfully nothing extreme. But it had me interested there for about a second. But as far as watching that, but thankfully there's really no real rotation in that storm. I mean, that this part of the storm is also weakening quite a bit, falling apart. So some really good news here. But again, if you're in Eton, you're in Chatsworth, the warning remains in effect. The tornado warning for you remains in effect for about another 20 minutes. So for at least the next 20 minutes, I would just stay put, as well as Crandall down to Ramhurst. Just stay sheltered until this passes, or at least until the warning gets canceled or is allowed to expire. Cleveland, you're good. So from this severe storm, your severe threat from this storm is over. But again, as I said about a minute ago, we got more storms coming in from the west, so we're not totally out of the woods on that yet. But as far as from this complex is concerned, for Cleveland, you're good. Again, we'll watch and see what happens later with that last wave as it moves into our area here in a couple of hours. But right now, this right in here is the main area where we're watching for severe storms. So Charleston, Calhoun, down to about the Jetport, into Benton, Ocoee, right down the Ocoee River, and down towards Ball Play, Conasauga, Parksville Lake. That's the zone where this line, where it bows out right here, where there could be some 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. As that moves northeast towards the Delano area, eventually towards Ducktown, and also up towards Coker Creek, Tellico Plains. If you're watching from out there, be aware that you have damaging thunderstorms moving in. And speaking of which, here's a new warning that goes in effect until 7:45. That's going to be for eastern Polk County and also western Cherokee County, North Carolina. So doesn't include Murphy, but it's just west of Murphy. But it's heading that way, though. So I know I got a couple followers actually out here around Murphy Andrews. So if y'all happen to be watching from there, heads up, this is heading y'all's way. You'll have the potential for damaging winds here within the next hour out here. And also, same thing if for those that follow me out of Blue Ridge, you got this moving your way too here within the hour. As I said, these are technically not in my immediate coverage area, but I do recognize that I have a couple of people that do follow out in here. So if you're watching from any of those little spots like LJ, Blue Ridge, Murphy, Andrews area, just a heads up for you because this is all moving east in your direction. And again, you have that potential for damaging winds. Could be on the order of 50 to 60 miles an hour. But the good thing is I'm not seeing 80 anymore along this. So that's great. I'm not seeing any indications of really any real rotation, even though we still technically have that tornado warning in Murray County. But as I said, I just don't see any kind of real tornado evidence here, at least at this point. Take a couple sips of water here real quick. Again, there was that new warning update that just came across. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, they took Walker County out of that. So, again, from this wave, I know you got that strong storm east of Lafayette and east of Highway 27 around Villanelle, but thankfully that has fallen below severe levels. So the severe thunderstorm warning for Walker County has been canceled. But it remains in effect for Murray County, all of Murray County, southeastern Whitfield, south and east of downtown Dalton, and the northeastern tip of Gordon County, which would include Ranger and just north of Resaca. That all goes in effect here through the next 35 minutes until 7:45. So we will be done more than likely with this by the time we get towards the 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central hour here from this way. But again, as you see out here to the west, still got more rain and thunderstorms here. And I'm actually going to investigate these real quick just to make sure we don't have any kind of, hopefully we don't have any kind of like spinning or anything with any of these. Because sometimes when you have a low pressure center that's wrapped around, sometimes on this eastern and southeastern quadrant, you can get some low top storms that can sometimes spin a little. So that may be something that has to be watched for a little bit later. But again, I'm not. It's not a high threat, and it should not be too much of an issue. And I'm not seeing anything of big nodal velocities out in here, so that's good. But this right here is the next wave that's heading our way, and that'll be here within the next ballpark figure. I'd say between about 7 and midnight. Between 7 Central and midnight, which would be between 8 and 1, roughly. And that's a ballpark figure on that. Because with all these severe weather we've been going through here, haven't had a chance to look back at modeling, but that'd be a good figure I'd put on this. But for this last batch here of thunderstorms, so far they are behaving, so that's good. Hopefully it stays that way out there. Hopefully they stay behaved. But out here to the east, still got some really strong wind in here in parts of Polk County and extending down into northwestern, really the panhandle of Fannin County here. Still showing, again, this is high up in the air, so this is a good a good about 7,000, 7,500 feet off the ground here. It's showing some 70s in here, but again, at the surface, it's like 50 to 60, so that verifies what the warning is issued for right here. So Little Frog, Big Frog Mountain, this is going to go up and over that mountain, so the wind is probably going to accelerate as it does so, as it moves up that elevation, so and then down it. So heads up around Ducktown, down towards Copper Hill, McKaysville, up through Turtletown, west to Reliance, and the worst of this seems to be passing Ocoee, at least the worst of the wind part. So you're kind of more on the back side of it, down around Old Fort, Ocoee, and Conasauga and Ballplay. But the worst of this is now moving to your east. And again, I'll double check to make sure we don't have any real rotation. As I said, it's very weak. Again, it's mostly just wind at this point. Again, Benton's right in the middle of this now. On the north side of this storm, you got Claxton over towards Charleston and Calhoun, as well as Dentonville that are in this, Luskville. And moving into Delano here, right along the McMinn-Polk County line, moving towards Etowah. So Etowah heads up for you. This will be in your area in about 5 minutes, roughly. And then after that, that'll be an issue for Tellico Plains as well as Coker Creek there in southern Monroe County. Again, still got this heavy storm here from Villanelle down through Tryon, the north side of Somerville there, moving towards Calhoun-Resaca. Currently, not seeing any evidence of severe activity in here. Just a strong thunderstorm with gusty wind, torrential rain, lightning. Could be a little bit of pea-sized hail there where that pink is being shown. And then, as I said, really no indication of a tornado here at this point in Murray County. I'll double-check velocity just to make sure, and yeah. I mean, this is really, really disorganized. It's very messy. Signature's very noisy. Velocity-wise, it's just not anything big. So I think it's safe to say that we can pretty much drop this tornado warning. I know it technically expires in 17, but we'll just watch it and see, make sure it doesn't try to reorganize. But at the same time, it doesn't really strike out impressive at this point. And then up here to the north, got some good rain falling up in here, northeast Hamilton County through Bradley. Athens is going to get some rain, but you folks there are going to get some rain, but the severe stuff's going to stay south of you. And then Dayton, Pikeville, probably pouring up in here, but you don't have any severe weather. Still raining in McMinnville, but it's about to wrap up from this wave. You got more coming in from the west, though, with that final wave. Rain's wrapping up in Grundy County for now, as well as Marion County. But again, more storms are going to be moving in from the west over the next few hours. Dunlap, again, same thing. Spencer, got some good rain there. Sparta, more rain about to move into Crossville. Again, this stuff up in here is non-severe, so I'm showing this up in here so that way no one's forgotten up in here, and that way I can tell you that you're good, and all this is staying to your south and east. I mean, so again, right now, the main area of severe weather extends from west of Delano around the Claxton area of southern McMinn County, down through Benton, the Ocoee River, so right down 64 there, Big Frog Mountain, down about Fort Mountain, and all the way to the south and southwest of Dalton here. This is all moving to the east and southeast, and this will be out of our area completely. This bow echo right here will be totally out of our area by no later than 7:45, so no later than 30 minutes. And then our attention turns to what this last wave does out here to the west. So, again, still got the tornado warning. Again, Whitfield, you're out of this. So, if you're in Dalton, all clear. Crandall, not Crandall, but Cohutta, Varnell, Tunnel Hill, Rocky Face, you're clear. This is east of you now. Eton, Chatsworth, just stay on guard for about another 5-10 minutes, and then you'll be good. I mean, once that warning expires or gets canceled early, you'll be good. That's the tornado warning in red. And then over here to the east, this will be in Blue Ridge here in about 20 minutes, roughly 10. I'd say 10 to 15 actually. McKaysville, over up in New Copper Hill, Ducktown here within the next 5 minutes. This is when this line's gonna roar through your area, as well as Turtletown, Harbuck, and Farner. This is heading y'all's way. And then over towards Towey and Reliance, Delano. This is on your doorstep here. And again, this radar is updating about every 2 to 4 minutes, so that means the next scan is going to jump. So it'll probably be already over you by the time I check back on that. And as I said, nothing really too wild here, and that tornado warning has been canceled. So I said there's no evidence of any rotation, so the tornado warning has been officially canceled for Murray County. So if you're in Chatsworth and Eton and out in the Whitfield County that had that tornado warning, all clear. Tornado warning has been canceled. And when I say all clear, I mean all clear from a tornado, from this line of storms. Because remember, we still got one more wave out here to the west that we got to watch. So it's not an all clear from the overall severe threat. It's just an all clear from this complex that's moving off to the east. So again, like I say, most of you seeing this are in good shape. It's just that for those in southern Whitfield, south of downtown Dalton, through Murray County, up through Polk, those are the areas that are currently having the severe weather here at this time. And the wind does go back a pretty good way. So Benton, you're on the back side of this, so about 5 more minutes and you'll be clear. Ocoee, Ballplay, Old Fort, Conasauga, the Tenga community, over towards Gap Spring, in Bradley County, you're clear from this line and complex of severe storms. This one complex, you're clear from that, so you're good. Cleveland, you're good as well. Georgetown, Decatur, points west from this complex, well east of you. No more worries from it. Again, I'll repeat this again. Here's our next wave to watch. Good thing here, it's disorganized so far. Only thing I don't like is that you got some individual storms trying to form out ahead of it, and there's still a little bit of shear. So some of these could try to weakly spin a little bit, especially if they encounter a leftover boundary. So that's something I'm kind of keeping my ears up on here, just in case. But at the same time, so far, these have behaved out here. These have stayed below severe levels. They've been nothing wild or anything, and hopefully it stays that way. Fingers crossed. These will be the next ones to watch as they move off to the east. So the only counties right now that have severe thunderstorm warnings at this time, we'll just name the counties that have storms in them right now. Far southern McMinn County, approaching Etowah. Polk County, east of Ocoee. Murray County, southeastern Whitfield County, and northeastern Gordon County. So these are the only areas that currently have severe storms ongoing at this time. So again, Ducktown, it's pretty much almost on top of you there. It's getting ready to cross over the Highway 68 corridor there, and then after that it's going to cross into Cherokee County, North Carolina. And then up in here along State Route 30, State Route 315, 411 here in northern Polk County from Reliance up into Delano and Etowah. Storms are moving in right now. Gusty wind, heavy rain, a lot of lightning. So far, it does not appear that this northern end of the line will get extended as far as a severe thunderstorm warning is concerned. But again, I would still stay alert. At least be ready for strong gusty winds up there around Tellico Plains, south to Coker Creek if you happen to be watching from there, from those areas, here within the next 20 minutes or so. Here's another advisory that's been issued here. That's going to include Chattooga and Gordon counties here, basically east of downtown Summerville, south and east of Tryon, moving towards the Calhoun and Resaca areas, as well as Sonoraville, Sugar Valley, Plainville, even Ranger Fairmount there in Gordon County, Georgia. This is a line right here that's a strong thunderstorm with some gusty wind. Could be up to 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts there, possibly a little bit of pea-sized hail as well. Moving off to the south and east, and that advisory expires here in about 24 minutes. So by that point in time, this will all be out of the area, and we'll be able to watch, pretty much now fully exclusively watch what comes in from the west. So speaking of that, let's see if we can time out what's going on here. So what I will do is, let me see if I can time this out, and I will use this modeling to do so. Again, this is going to be so here was the last wave and here's the next one. So here's about 7 o'clock, and this is a really good estimation. I will have to say the modeling has done a lot better this afternoon. It really has with the timing and such, so really pleased to see that. Right here, there's 7 o'clock. This last wave of storms is moving back into those same areas it had earlier. So by 7, 8 o'clock, this moves Central Time. This moves back into places like the Huntsville area and over towards Franklin and Jackson counties again. I mean, and you got some more storms there. There's 8 o'clock. Again, this is estimated time. So I said between 7 and about midnight. So I'd say between about 8 p.m., midnight Eastern, 7 p.m., 11 p.m. Central. That's when that last wave is going to move through. And once it moves out, then we clear out overnight, and things look better down the road. Here's a quick look at Tuesday, maybe a sprinkle or two at most, but nothing big. And then Tuesday and Wednesday are looking really nice. So after we get through all this, we're going to have 2 very nice days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So that'll be good. And then we'll probably introduce some more scattered storm chances as we get closer to the weekend. But those at this time look more like traditional summer pop-ups as opposed to what we went through here today. But yeah, that's the kind of the look into the future there real fast. At the moment, we have severe storms running from Dalton, moving into Chatsworth, Eton, Crandall, east into Fort Mountain, west of Blue Ridge, up through Ducktown, Turtletown, Farner, almost Farner, not about 5 minutes and it'll be there, and up through the Reliance area, up into Etowah and Delano. Those are the spots that still have that severe weather at this point. And then you got a strong thunderstorm here that's east of Summerville and Tryon, so y'all are good from this now. And that's moving towards Calhoun, Sugar Valley, and Resaca out here. So these are the areas that are in the path of that as it moves towards I-75 there in North Georgia in the Gordon County area. Another very strong storm south of DeKalb County, Alabama, heading towards Rome, but that will stay south of us. That one little storm will. And then there's the last wave that we'll be watching here over the next few hours. And then the rain you see up in here, it's just stratiform rain. Starting to rain in Crossville again, but nothing severe with that. Again, Athens, there's no issue there. This is mainly for Etowah and south, but at the same time, I don't see any evidence of anything else as far as all that's concerned, as far as severe weather. But let's check and see what the wind speeds look like here. Again, we're looking farther and farther up here, so the data's not going to be very good out here. And we're looking a good 8,000 feet off the ground here, so that's going to be what's happening up there. So that's showing about 60 to 65. So at the surface, that's a good 50 to 55 probably. I would have mapped something like that down there. So As you see here, it is weakening a little as it crosses up and over those mountains as it heads into Cherokee County, North Carolina, and down into Blue Ridge, and eventually Blairsville. But even with that said, the rear inflow jet into this is still strong enough to power those winds right into southwestern North Carolina here. So these folks down here, down in here across again Cherokee County up through the Smokies up here towards Swain County and others, they're gonna have to contend with all this as this moves off to the east, at least with the wind portion of it. But again, as I look at velocities, I don't see any evidence of any rotations or anything like that. I mean, it's very disorganized, and that's the good thing. I mean, everything is thankfully not looking all that strong at this point. So again, right now, for places like Marion County, Catoosa, Walker, Hamilton, everybody else basically west of Polk and Murray County here, you're in a break, you're in a lull in between the wave that just went through that produced all that severe weather, and then the last batch of storms with the low pressure center and also the front that's diving in slowly. You're in a break here. So if you need to run out and do any kind of errands or clean up of trees or lines or anything like that, this is a good time to do it here within the next hour or two before this last round moves in. So if you need to get something done or need to run to the grocery store, if you want to go out to dinner with someone or whatever that may be, right now is a good time to do it while things are calm. So that's the situation there with all that. So that's what I'm saying. So if you got anything you want to do this evening, you have my blessing in doing so. I mean, whatever you want to do on that, if you need to get anything done before this last wave gets in here. So hopefully this last wave will not be anything big. So far, it's behaving. The storms are trying to re-intensify a little out here, but so far they're behaving. Again, I'm keeping a very close eye on them. But the good thing here is that, at least right now, as of the way I'm speaking here, as of 6:27 p.m. Central, 7:27 p.m. Eastern, on Monday, June 22nd, these out here right now are non-severe. Let me check and see what watches we have in effect here, so that way I'm not missing something, because I bet I have. Again, the severe thunderstorm watch for North Alabama has been canceled. So Franklin County, Tennessee, North Alabama, severe thunderstorm watch for you has been canceled. However, it's still in effect for most of us from Coffee, Grundy, Marion, Squatchy, Bledsoe, and east and south into North Georgia. This watch goes in effect for another 4 hours until 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So for most of southeast Tennessee and North Georgia, we still have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. So, and that's a good time frame as far as this back out here to the west, because all this will be out of here by midnight. I mean, by at least midnight, if not just a little after, just a little. So this is not going to be an all-night thing to where you need to stay up. And really, to be honest with you, I don't think anyone needs to stay up tonight. I mean, of course, I have to because I got to watch all this, but at the same time, tonight's one of those nights where you're not going to have to really worry about having issues, staying, going to sleep or staying up. I mean, there's really, again, I'll keep an eye on this out here to the west just to make sure it doesn't do anything crazy, but at the moment, I don't see it. So at the current time, want to get back focused on these real quick. Still got these strong to severe storms passing just south of Dalton here. They are weakening, so that's a good thing. These are falling apart quite a bit down here to the south, and they're still quite heavy, so heads up around Calhoun and Resaca and such, but I really don't see any more. Yeah, and this is really not even severe at that point down that way. That's why there's just an advisory, but around Murray County, southern Whitfield over towards Blue Ridge up into eastern Polk County, around Etowah, points south. Still some very heavy rain, lightning, gusty wind. But really at this point, most of the severe stuff is really advanced off distance. This is a really strong wind gust here, approaching the Highway 68 corridor there around Farner and Harbuck there in Turtletown in eastern Polk County. So that could be a fairly strong wind gust. Now it's not. That's probably happening a good 8,000-9,000 feet off the ground, so that's not happening at the surface. But at the surface, the rain and such can transport that down as at least a 50 to 60 mile an hour wind there at the surface. So heads up. So again, Turtletown, Farner. You're already getting the heavy rain, but that wind may pick up here in a matter of a few minutes and last a few minutes, and then that'll be it. But again, this stuff down in here to the south and east continues to fall apart as it progresses to the south and east. So let me make sure we don't have anything else, make sure we don't have any rotation or anything, and thankfully I don't see any of that, so that's good. So yep, that's the good news with that. So with that said here, since things are trending lower and this line is beginning to move out, I'm going to go ahead and take a break here, sign off, since things are trending weaker, especially here to the east and southeast, and these are also now beginning to move away from our area, these thunderstorms. Stay alert for at least the next 10-20 minutes or so, at least in Murray County around Chatsworth, points south. Again, Dalton, you're in the clear. Calhoun, you got a strong storm moving in into Gordon County, but it's non-severe, nothing to worry about. So this is all heading off to the east and southeast. So the good thing here is at least these are weaker, and I don't see a major concern with them at this time. And this stuff here moving in northeastern Polk County is now moving into Cherokee County, North Carolina, away from us, and then we'll have to watch what happens out here to the west over the next few hours as this final wave of heavy rain and thunderstorms moves through the tri-state here over the next few hours. Again, between 7 and 11 p.m. Central Time, roughly 8 p.m. to midnight Eastern estimated time of arrival for this last wave. So with that said, I'll have updates as necessary through tonight. If we somehow get another tornado warning or an upper end severe thunderstorm warning, of course I'll pop right back on here and we'll track it from there. But if you don't see another live video, that means things are good. So hopefully the plan here is for the rest of the evening to stick to mostly written posts and such, and go from there with that. So, and the good thing here is by midnight tonight we will be good, and Tuesday and Wednesday will be very nice days. So stay weather aware for the next few hours, and again, I will have updates as needed. Y'all have a good and safe evening.